Prices as a part of his plan to tackle inflation. Last night at a town hall in Pennsylvania, he was talking about this other part of the plan, which is to try to get China to buy food from our farmers. So in Georgia, Trump needs solid voter turnout. That because the state went for Biden in 2020 and then also sent 2 Democrats to the Senate. He is getting a helping hand from popular Governor Brian Kemp here, who's been fundraising for him, using his ground game machine to get out the vote. And also, I was told by former Senator Kelly Loeffler's team that she has also now registered over 40,000 new voters, new conservative voters since 2021.
Vice President Kamala Harris headed to Detroit.
Vice President Harris is stepping up her public appearances in this final stretch of the campaign. Overnight, she was rallying supporters in Erie County, Pennsylvania. During her remarks, Harris made it clear she believes Trump is increasingly using dangerous rhetoric that she says should be a warning to voters in the Keystone State. Harris is in Detroit today, participating in a radio town hall with Charlemagne the God. It's the latest sign that the campaign is really trying to win back any black voters that may be considering voting for Trump. In Michigan, they're also struggling to win over some Arab Americans. The headline today from Politico is that the political committee of Arab Americans based in Michigan is not going to endorse Harris or Trump for president.
That's Fox's Mark Meredith from Pittsburgh. And 3 weeks out from Election Day, and a Georgia judge has said that election results must be certified by the state's deadline. That's 5 p.m. on the Monday after an election, or Tuesday if Monday is a holiday like it is this year. This ruling comes amid rising fears that some election officials could look to delay or decline to certify election results because of allegations of fraud or error. America's listening to Fox News.
Moments like making my kids my famous meatballs mean a lot to me. But after being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that has spread to other parts of the body, they mean even more. I take Ibrance, palbociclib.
Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for adults with HR-positive, HER2-negative MBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
It is cool, even for the middle of October. 59, 60 for the high. Tonight, clear skies. Evening temperatures will quickly drop out of the 50s into the upper 40s, going down to 35 for the low, so areas of frost away from the city. First thing Wednesday morning. Wednesday is sunny and 61. Nice Thursday and Friday. Upper 60s to near 70. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
At Onder Law, we deliver big judgments for the little guy. Onder Law takes on the biggest industries and holds them accountable. Call today for a free review at 314 or 618-90000.
When Greg Hammonds at GregHammonds.com talks to people about health insurance, they tell him, 1, my premiums are too much. 2, my deductible is so high I never meet it. And 3, my doctor doesn't accept my plan anymore. Greg offers private health insurance plans that are not on the ACA marketplace. You can pick your doctors. For most claims, you won't even pay a deductible, and they're 30 to 60% lower cost than Obamacare. One more thing, there's no tax penalty at the end of the year. Greg even has plans that are guaranteed acceptance and available all year long, so you can enroll today. If you pay for your own health insurance, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Greg at 314-794-7784. That's 314-794-7784. Or go to GregHammonds.com. That's GregHammonds.com. He can custom design a plan managed and chosen by you, not the government.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm is has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Landslide Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
I can see clearly now thanks to the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, Andy Royer, and introducing Samuel Berry. You can too. Call 314-966-5000 or check out youridoc.com. That's youridoc.com.
Is thinning hair or a receding hairline making you self-conscious? Try Hair Grow from New Nordic. Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start feeling your best with Hair Grow. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
5 and 5:30. It's a quick turnaround. So I started out by saying we plan to run it, uninterrupted, but I had to check with the business people to make sure that we didn't have any commercials in there and that we didn't have to cut it in half or something. But for everybody who's been asking, it is as live. In other words, we roll the tape, but it's running just as we do it. So from beginning to end, you'll see every second. And it will be unedited, and we will run it without commercial straight through the first half hour of my show.
Well, that's exciting to hear. Bret Baier going to be interviewing Kamala Harris, and that is to air tomorrow, I believe. I'm going to have to recalibrate my this whole week. I'm going to be one day off. Thank you for the time that you granted myself with my family. Big volleyball tournament in Peoria, Illinois over the weekend. Was excited to participate in that. Take a little extra time off yesterday. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. A huge event in my life yesterday that I will share with you in the 2 o'clock hour. It's like not a huge event in anybody else's life, just the Fry family. And so we'll discuss that in the 2 o'clock hour and see if y'all can relate to that at all. We're going to listen in here in just a second to Donald Trump, who's speaking at the Economic Club of where? Chicago. Over the course of the weekend, I was in Peoria and trying to touch into the news every once in a while when I can. And I saw on Fox News that Donald Trump was going to be in Illinois. Well, I don't know, the one time where they don't just refer to as Chicago instead of Illinois, but I think that maybe Fox News saw a little bit of benefit of suggesting, Donald Trump's going to Illinois, he's going to New York, he's going to Madison Square Garden. Throw Illinois in there. Made my heart skip a beat for a second. And I thought, good grief, I'm in Peoria. Where's he going to be? When's he going to be there? Maybe I'll go stop by. Well, it's today. He's in Chicago, and it's with Bloomberg News, and he's talking about tariffs. And we're going to dip into that here in just a minute. I want to set up the show for you, though, today, because at 1:25, we're going to be speaking with Joe Concha. I want to talk to Joe Concha about the, was it the 60 Minutes interview that everything was being put out there, and then all of a sudden it got edited?
Yes, that was a 60 Minutes interview.
So I've been out of practice for four days. Was that... There's no resolution to that, right? Everyone's just holding their breath in that moment.
Right. There's two different videos, and people have basically been screaming from the high heavens every time CBS tweets something to release the transcript. And CBS has not released the transcript.
No. And will they? I don't know. I guess it depends on if they want to be on the side of Donald Trump or not. Should he win or should he lose? Or Kamala's good side or bad? That's what journalism has come to today. I'm so excited that Bret Baier is going to have the opportunity to interview Kamala Harris, and that we're going to get that unedited. Have we seen, Brad? I'm trying to think of an instance where we've seen Kamala Harris be challenged in a real material way, but have we seen her 30 minutes straight through challenged by a reporter?
I was going to say The View, but not challenged and not 30 minutes straight through.
Yeah, not interrupted because they have commercial breaks.
Right. No. I don't think so. Maybe that town hall, but I didn't get to watch that and see if there was...
I trust Brett Baer. I think he's fantastic.
Oh, same. I couldn't think of a better person from Fox because all the right people are mad at him. If that makes sense. You've got people that are on the far left. They're like, this guy is a partisan hack. And you got people on the right saying, this guy is a partisan hack.
He talks to him on Twitter.
Oh, it's fun, too. I've been watching that lately. And, Brett Baer, I like Brett Baer. I have kind of an affinity for him. I think that you can get the truth and you will get the truth from him. And he can do it in a way that is pressing, but without being a jerk or rude or sounding... like all the stuff that's off-putting when you hear other people do it.
Sure. I think, he's just a news guy. I feel like I trust him to be more interested in the truth than the political fallout or benefit from an interview with him. I've heard from a lot of you folks on our X account at Annie Fry Show. If you don't follow us there, come join us over there. And some of you are a little concerned about Fox News' Brett Baer being able to do the job. I certainly am not. He does not know that I'm saying this, and he's not going to find out that I'm saying this. I know that we're St. Louis's Fox News Radio affiliate, but I trust him, and I think he'll do a fair job. And it'll be very interesting to see Kamala Harris in a situation that is going to be new, which is what I'm sure the Harris campaign considers to be unfriendly territory, and in a position where the questions they're going to be asked are not going to be chopped up and edited in a way that makes her look good. Doug says on our YouTube chat right now, Brett Baer is a never Trumper, right? Do we truly expect him to challenge Harris if it benefits Trump? Mind blown. I just don't know. Brett Baer is not never Trumper.
I've not seen that. I'm not sure where anybody's getting that.
No, he's his job. Like, does Brett Baer have a passionate political thought on this election? Maybe.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you what it is.
But he's covering the news in a way. Like, I know that we are affiliated with Fox News, but I am so not big enough to have any idea what I'm saying or for this to get back to him and to benefit from it in any way, shape, or form. I just don't. I would hope that you would trust me to not be selling you something that somebody is trying to make me say, because it's legitimately never happened in the course of this show that somebody has put words in my mouth or taken words out of my mouth. I've never been told what to say, what I can say, what I can't say, what I have to say, what I need to push. Other than, like, come to our party that we're having and buy your tickets, that type of stuff. I just think he's fair. And we have to make sure that we're not like the other side, where if Brett Baer asks Donald Trump a challenging question, that is his job. Brett Baer, we can't say that if you're not all in for Trump, that makes you a never Trumper when we're talking about journalists. This is what we are imploring upon the other side of the aisle, the media that they contain. We're imploring them to just ask tough questions on behalf of the American people. So I almost knocked my IC over with wide hand gestures. I just think Brett Baer is the right guy for the job. I'm looking forward to it. And I will give you a fair thought and assessment afterwards, whether I think he let her skate on anything. I don't think he will. But I do also know this personally. When I was in grade school, a couple times in high school, played basketball. And my dad is an official. And every once in a while, the officials wouldn't show up, and my dad would have to officiate the game, or maybe they couldn't find anyone, so we knew going into it that my dad was going to officiate my game. I probably got called on more fouls in that game than any of the other games I played. Like, I think this is a testament to my dad's character, but he didn't want anybody in the gym to think that he was showing me some sort of favoritism, so I got away with nothing. And usually, I got away with a few things. But not when Dad was the official on the court. And I think a lot of people look at Brett Baer like the official that is like the candidate's uncle, and that he's going to try to press upon Donald Trump in a way that feels just a little extra, just trying to make sure that they're not pushing themselves in a way that seems slanted in any way, shape, or form. I want to take phone calls. So we were going to listen to this tariff thing on Donald Trump. I think let's keep it queued up, and we'll get to that in a little bit here. The YouTube live chat poll for today is, how will Donald Trump finish in the election? We're three weeks away. Brad, in 3 weeks and 1 day, it's possible that Kamala Harris is yesterday's news, and also possibly the President of the United States. I still think it's going to happen. And by that, I mean Kamala loses the election, Joe Biden steps down, Kamala Harris is first female president of the United States.
Ooh, I could see that happening. But yeah, 3 weeks away. This is going to sound really crazy. My wife and I have been looking at Illinois early voting. Hans von Spakovsky said that one time when he was on the show, that the best way to do is vote early and in person. And Illinois has that option available for us. Mm-hmm. So we're looking for it to come to the municipal building down by us so that we don't have to drive down to the courthouse to do it.
Yeah.
And that's supposed to open up here in the next couple days. So I'm getting ready to go cast my vote. But it's wild that it's already that time, because it just seems like for, I don't know, the past 2.5, 3 years.
Like my whole life.
My entire radio career has kind of been pushing toward this
You started
point.
on the show in Labor Day weekend, after Labor Day of 21.
September 7th of 2021.
So you started this pretty, almost in sync with the Biden administration.
Yeah.
So you've never done radio when Donald Trump's president?
No.
Oh, it's fun.
I hope so.
It's fun.
I hope I get a chance.
If Donald Trump does win, the Annie Fry Show in the past has had great relationships with the people in the Trump administration. We had people in the cabinet on this show. I'm not going to say they weren't weekly guests, but when we would ask, they would say, yeah, they can do it. And then we'd plan 3 weeks out or whatever, and we'd get them on the show. It's great for our ability to bring you the truth from the people in the White House making the policy decisions. Of course, that door slammed shut the second Donald Trump lost the election. Our poll for today, if you go to the Annie Fry YouTube channel and you vote, you'll have to tell us, how do you feel? We're 3 weeks out. How will Donald Trump finish the election? Is he going to lose in a landslide? Is he going to lose in a close election, win a close election, or win in a landslide? I want to take your phone calls on this because I haven't been able to talk to y'all in a minute because I've been off. I want to get take your temperature of how you're feeling about this election. So if you call us at 314-241-9797, 314-241-9797, you can tell us how you're feeling about this particular question, today's YouTube live chat poll. You can also go to the Annie Fry YouTube channel and vote in the live broadcast that's taking place right there on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. How will Donald Trump finish in the election? 314-241-9797, 314-241-9797 if you want to weigh in on the show. We'll take your phone calls as they come in. A couple people have commented so far on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. The first one is from Doug, who, I think that's the same Doug that was saying that Brett Baer is never Trump.
Yes.
He thinks that Trump is going to lose closely. Never underestimate the Democrats' steal. Chris says, landslide. Which one? She said, quote, I saw yesterday too big to rig. Fingers crossed. I'm starting to think the Dems want him in to fix their mess. Then he gone. Yeah, they'll try. And then Erica said, I voted win, but close. I'm becoming more hopeful that Trump will win, but I always hope for the best and expect the worst. Erica, you and me, girl. You and me. As soon as I get a little extra hopeful, I'm like, no, stop it. Snap out of it, Annie. The Dems are getting desperate and dangerous. That's what Erica said. So she's a win close. And I'll just add this in here. It's not part of the poll in words, but it is technically how we elect our president. I'm talking about electorally, not popular vote. The popular vote means jack crap. So don't worry about the popular vote. We can lose the popular vote. You can win the election still, and it still counts. It still sticks. So in this poll, we're talking about the Electoral College. How will Donald Trump finish in the election? Give us a call and tell us what you think. We'll go through your phone calls in the next segment, 314-241-9797. Get in line now while the lines are open, 314-241-9797. Donald Trump in Chicago, Illinois today, speaking at the Economic Club of Chicago. We'll cover that. We've got Ethan in for Ryan Wiggins, who has an extra day off today. He's going to do Wiggins America. Joe Concha at 125. But you, next.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFryShow.
Let's talk about Air Comfort Service and how Air Comfort Service will help you navigate those heating issues, not cooling issues. I almost said cooling issues. It's cold outside right now. You probably have your furnace on. If you haven't yet, you're sticking it out. You've got the blankets out, the fireplace roaring, and you know that it's almost time. If the furnace is not working well in your place of business, did you know that Air Comfort Service, heating, air conditioning, and insulation also helps you with that? They are available at a quick phone call, 314-513-0091, 314-513-0091. You reach out to them and you tell them that you've got some issues, and they're going to help you walk through that process. If you're looking at a steep repair bill or requesting the quoted or are questioning the quoted repair, give Air Comfort Service a call at that number, and you can also get a free second opinion on a heat exchanger or compressor repair. Reach out to Air Comfort Service. You can call them at 314-513-0091, 314-513-0091, and make sure you let them know that the Annie Fry Show sent you. You'll get the same wonderful treatment that we got in our house for our residential HVAC needs, and they've pretty much filled up all of them for us. Online at aircomfortservice.com.
Do you have $10,000, $20,000, or $30,000 in debt? Then listen to this. You may not be required to pay it all back.
I was drowning in debt.
I had over $36,000 in debt.
If I would have just made the minimum payments, it would have taken me 59 years to pay off.
Whether it's credit card, medical, or personal loan debt, National Debt Relief can help significantly reduce what you owe. In fact, debt relief payments can be 50% less than your monthly credit card payments. That's right, half as much as you're paying now.
National Debt Relief reduced my debt by over $27,000.
With National Debt Relief, you have a powerful team that knows how to talk to your creditors.
National Debt Relief, they got me out of debt.
More than 550,000 Americans have used National Debt Relief to reduce their debt. Call 800-649-6464 to see if you qualify to settle your debt for a fraction of what you owe. 800-649-6464. That's 800-649-6464.
Hi, Charles Payne here at one of the exciting Money Show events where I'm presenting the keynote, broadcasting my live TV show, and best of all, giving away free copies of my newest book, Unbreakable Investor. It's a $29.95 value, but if you act now, I'll give you one too.
For your free copy of Charles Payne's new book, Unbreakable Investor, text WIN to 505-505 and just cover shipping. Text WIN to 505-505. Text WIN to 505-505.
I'm handing you my investing playbook, 348 pages on how I personally invest to target the biggest returns while mitigating risk. It's how I've been with the market so I never break. Guidance so crucial for today's investors that I'm covering the cost of the book and giving you a copy for free.
To get your free copy of Charles Payne's new book, Unbreakable Investor, text the word WIN to 505-505 and just cover shipping. Text WIN to 505-505 while supplies last. Text WIN to 505-505 right now.
At Hampton Manor of Wentzville, they go the extra step to make sure their residents feel special. Mark Cox here for my friends at Hampton Manor. I recently stopped by there. You know, their veterans are celebrated with special recognitions, including special pastries created by their pastry chef. They have their own private chef. They'll even feed you lunch if you stop by for a visit at this great senior living community off the Lake St. Louis exit at Highway 70. Schedule your appointment today at WentzvilleAssistedLiving.com.
Our goal at Neovitin is to make supporting your nutrition as easy as possible. That's why we created the Neovitin monthly subscription. Just go to neovitin.com, choose your multivitamin, sign up, and we will do the rest. You'll receive your Neovitin multivitamin every month with no long-term obligation. You can pause or cancel at any time, and shipping is free. Each Neovitin multivitamin includes our physician-formulated proprietary blend for nutritional support you won't find anywhere else. Start supporting your nutrition the easy way with Neovitin multivitamins. Sign up for a Neovitin subscription today at neovitin.com.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
You've got thoughts. Did you know you also have a microphone? Listen to 97.1 on the Odyssey app and click the microphone to leave a voice message. Whatever's on your mind, let us know by clicking the microphone in the Odyssey app. You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
I see the work of your hands, galaxies spinning a heavenly dance. Oh God, all that you are is so overwhelming.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. It's so great to be back with you. Got to spend a little bit of time on the weekend going with my daughter's volleyball tournament this weekend. And so we had yesterday's Columbus Day. That feels like it means more. Kids get off. Are banks closed on Columbus Day?
I don't know for sure. I didn't go to the bank yesterday.
Yeah, I didn't either. I was off. So I was able to take some time off. I'm really getting my feet wet back, getting the news cycle turns over so quickly. And right now, I feel like we're going to talk about some Fox News polls in a little bit. And we've got Joe Concha on with us at 1:25 to really drill down into what he sees happening, his thoughts on our YouTube live chat poll for today's. How will Donald Trump finish in the election? It's a big question that we have, and that's the $1 billion, maybe the $1 trillion question at this point. How Donald Trump will fare. Some of you listening need him, want him, are praying for him to win with everything you've got. And some of you listening right now are praying for the opposite. And we understand that. We respect that here. I want to ask you, though, to give us a call and tell us how you do feel about this poll. How will Donald Trump finish in the election? Is he going to lose in a landslide or win in a landslide? Is he going to lose a close election or win a close election? You can, of course, vote on the Annie Fry YouTube channel, the Annie Fry live broadcast right now, or you can call us and tell us what you think. I've got a couple people here holding on the line, a few lines open as well. 314-241-9797, 314-241-9797. If you'd like to weigh in first, before we get to Ria's call, let's listen to CNN react to the current state of the election.
All right, so party ID nationally. You go to October, November of 2016, Democrats had a 3-point advantage. You go 4 years ago, Democrats had a 6-point advantage. Look at where we are today, Manu. Republicans with a 1-point advantage. A very different picture, very much mirroring what we see in the party registration numbers in those key battleground states, and Pennsylvania in particular.
It actually just shows you, too, why Harris is doing what she's trying to do. She's trying to moderate a little bit on these issues, trying to reach those very voters, because the party registration is changing, and the demographics of the voters are changing. And those are the people she needs to attract.
Absolutely. And you know, the GOP leads by a point in party identification right now. The average when the Republican Party loses is the Democrats ahead by 8. When the Republican Party wins, the average party ID advantage for Democrats is 3. Republicans right now, Manu, are doing even better than the average when they win. If there's one little nugget that I think Republicans are really hopeful for, it's this party ID and this party registration data. It really points in a good direction for them and for Donald Trump.
Wow.
So that's CNN reacting to the current states, like kind of looking up for Republicans, but nobody's counting those chickens quite yet. 314-241-9797. How do you think Donald Trump will finish in this election? Give us a call and tell us what you think. And we're going to start today with Ria. Ria, thank you for calling the Annie Fry Show. How do you feel that Donald Trump is going to finish in this election? Ria, are you there? Hey, Ria, hold on. I'm going to put you on hold. We're going to get to our other call. If you pick back up, maybe Ethan can check and see if Ria is listening. She's been home for a little bit, so we understand that. Let's try Linda. Linda, thank you for calling the Annie Fry Show. What do you think? How will Donald Trump finish in the election?
Hi, Annie. I think it's going to be close, but I have a better feeling about him winning because now at his rallies he's using the big screens and showing the public about the criminals, that the illegals and the crimes they're committing and the murders they've done. And I think it's having a real impact on people because it's very moving because you get to see the crime on the big screens at his rallies. And I really thought it was great.
Yeah, Linda, have you always been a Donald Trump supporter?
Yes.
What is there anything about your support or your feelings about him and his ability to be our president that has changed from 2016 to where we are right now?
No, I'm just thinking there might be less fraud. I'm hoping. But I think the Democrats are going to do whatever they can to win this election. And it really bothers me because I really think there was a lot of fraud in the last election, especially with the Ruckerbergers and all the money they contributed to the Board of Elections. And I don't know if they're going to be doing anything like that this time.
So, Linda, your feeling about Donald Trump has stayed the same, and you're just hoping for a fair election this time around.
Right, exactly.
Thank you for listening to the show, Linda. We're happy to have you here.
Okay.
Take care. I want to listen to, we're going to get to our next call here in a second, but let's listen to Tim Murtaugh. He's a friend of the Annie Frey Show. He is reacting to the Kamala campaign.
We all know that it has been Kamala Harris's strategy from the very beginning, as soon as they pushed Joe Biden and they cooed him, really, and shoved him off the stage and rammed her in there without very much discussion. She became the candidate. They were hoping to ride the media euphoria and this vibe of joy that she was trying to sell, hoping to ride that all the way to Election Day. But that obviously wasn't working. She is the one who's been hiding, and now she's been forced to come out and do interviews. You know she doesn't want to, but she is the one who's been hiding. There is no way she could keep up with Donald Trump's schedule. No way on earth.
Tim Murtaugh saying that Kamala Harris has been hiding and that the Brett Baier interview is something she doesn't want to do. I think a lot of people are reacting in this way. And Brad, you probably, I don't know if you tweeted this out or if you sent it to me or something, but people are asking the question. And if you want to give us a call, 314-241-9797, and answer this question as well. But Brad, is it overconfidence or is it a fear that the Harris campaign has that results in the Brett Baier interview?
I think it's fear. I think that they, when we had Tim Murtaugh on earlier, what was that, last week sometime?
Mm-hmm.
He came on and you asked him which polls, and he's like, well, we pay a lot of money for internal polling, and we pay a lot of money for people not to lie to us.
Yeah.
So they
want to know.
Right. And I say this all the time about polling. When you look at the polls, you always got to ask who's commissioning the polls and what are they trying to convince. Well, if a campaign is commissioning a poll, they're trying to figure out where people are for their campaign and know when to adjust. Kamala Harris has been running a campaign that was not making her available. She would go do rallies. She'd hang out with some pop stars. She wouldn't do anything. Something changed within their campaign, and I don't think it's overconfidence because I think that she didn't get the bounce in the polling from the debate. So she wasn't able to make her case of why you should vote for me. It was just mainly like smear Donald Trump, that whole debate. Tim Walz came out there and got his behind thoroughly waxed by J.D. Vance. And so that didn't go well. So then they're like, okay, we do need to reach people. So now they're looking, and I think they're pulling the Mayday handle. I think this is panic and fear. I think they're like not liking what they're seeing on their internal polling. I
don't think that Kamala Harris's folks are going to be able to manipulate in any way, shape, or form what Brett Baier does. And I think that if they attempt to do it, Brett Baier will absolutely tell the American people that that's what they tried to do.
For sure. I've already seen Brett Baier say in a tweet, I'll release the transcript. I don't have any problem with that. Yeah. So, yeah, they're not going to be able to get away with any sort of manipulation or pushing him around. And like I said, I think Brett Baier's fair and honest, and I think that he's going to do a great job on this interview.
This is the Tim Walz response to the Trump.
We're focused on bringing prices down, focusing on the things middle-class families care about, and then focusing on tackling the big issues like Medicare and stay-at-home care for seniors. Those are really innovative ideas.
Yet polls show that many Americans and Pennsylvanians think the economy was better over the Trump administration, and they liked his tax cuts. They helped everyone.
Well, the fact of the matter is that he left with 10 million people out of work, 9 million jobs closed, and we were in the middle of the global pandemic. I don't think people want to go back to tens of thousands of Americans dying.
It's like, try the thing where if Donald Trump wins, then people just die. Throw that at the wall and see if it sticks. 314-241-9797. We've got Paul on the line with us. If you want to join us on the show to answer this question, 314-241-9797. Paul, what do you think? How is Donald Trump going to finish in this election?
Well, ma'am, I hope that he finishes. I think it'll be a close race. I hope that he wins. I don't think there's going to be a landslide without some strange October surprise, but I hope that he does win close race, A little bit about me, just quickly. I'm a Vietnam veteran, combat veteran. I'm a pastor of a Southern Baptist church, and I've also was a licensed therapist for 40 years, working the inner city and trying to help people stay out of crime and stay out of prison. So I've been in all different kinds of places in my life. I have quite a wide perspective, but I just want to share something. I've never called into a radio show before. This is my first time, but I think this election is really very, very critical for our country. And here's what worries me. We've had 60 million babies plus killed by abortion in our country already. There's many states that are going back that way, even conservative Kansas. Missouri will have number 3 on the ballot for potential amendments and put abortion back in place in Missouri pretty much without limits. These trans rights that are going on where we're mutilating children, gets to a point where in the secular world they say you reap, that what comes around goes around, and then the scripture says you reap what you sow. And that really, really concerns me. God is a very patient, loving God. He extends grace upon grace. But at some point, you kind of get to the point where you get to the end of it. And if we don't turn this around, this election, I'm very, very concerned. Our country we could really find ourselves in some places you would never imagine America could be. And I came up in the 50s and the 60s, so I have a long reflection on this country, and I'm praying for us. My church is praying for us. We're putting out signs for Amendment 3, trying to block this killing of children and mutilation of children. And I don't know how it's going to come out, but I'm just trying to put a word out there. People need to just stop for a minute and get past just the routine talking points and check their hearts out, because I'm going to tell you something. The stuff that we've been doing in this country, if we don't really take a hard look at ourselves and really, I would just say we really need to pray. I don't have much faith in anything but prayer, a lot of prayer. And so, man, that's all I have to say today.
Paul, I want to ask you one question, because you identified yourself as a pastor, but also somebody here who has the willfulness to call into a radio show. You said you've never called into the show before. We're grateful that you listened to ours and that you shared your voice with us today. There's a lot of conversation taking place, really starting to snowball in the last week, about evangelicals that do not anticipate to vote because they can't stomach the vote for Donald Trump. People who consider themselves to be Christians, Catholics, whatever, who are saying, I can't vote for either one of these two people. And so they're sitting it out. I'm just wondering, you're not in the pulpit right now. You're on a radio show that's talking about news and politics and things that matter. As a pastor, Paul, what do you say to those Christians right now who are conflicted over who they will vote for this November, or whether they can vote at all?
Well, ma'am, I've been going through this at my church, and I've had some very candid discussions with my church members. Most of them are on board with my biblical point of view that abortion is murder and mutilating children is just the most horrible sin. These things are they're beyond question as to whether they're right or wrong. And if a person truly is a Bible-believing Christian, and I'm Southern Baptist, so we kind of roll with the Bible. I mean, this is what we do. And if you really believe in the scripture, if you really do, there's no way you can compare and contrast these two candidates' positions. Kamala Harris has flip-flopped on so many things, not just the issue of life. I'm calling and I'm advocating for life and safety for children today, which you can take any election, and those things always haste me to the wall. Those leave me no room. I'm one of those voters. I vote scripture. And anybody that's going to sit this out, especially in Missouri, and then they're going to watch potentially this election go the wrong way, or this Amendment 3 go the wrong way, and then read the news about all the children that are going to die in the state of Missouri and going to be mutilated. People, I don't know if people even really realize what an abortion is, where they plunge a razor-sharp tube into a child's brain and suck the brains out of their brain till their brain collapses, till their skull collapses. I don't know if people even really, these people on television, they're afraid to describe what these horrible things are. These things are absolutely horrible. Anybody who says they are a Christian and can't vote for the better of the two people on these issues, they're not reading their Bible, and they're going to have to deal with the Lord on these things. All of us are going to give an answer one day. I'm telling you, stand before the Lord, and we're going to answer for all of our choices. And what you reap is what you will sow. And it is fixing to happen all over this country and all over this state. I wasn't going to preach, but you turned my switch on.
Heck yeah, I did.
So I'll preach in a minute here, okay?
Book you again next
And
week.
I'm just telling y'all what I think. I love y'all. I love our country. I love Missouri. I love all my church members. God bless all of us. But I sit back at my age up in the 70s and combat and everything that I've been through in my life, and I can't say that anything affects my heart about our country and these kids the way things are today. So I don't have much else to say to you, ma'am. I've said everything I pretty much could say.
Paul, Pastor, thank you for the phone call today. We're very grateful for you.
God bless you.
God bless you. Paul, caller? First-time caller. That's the first. Man, you set the bar very high, Pastor. I know that that is going to feel very to people listening to the show. If you're newer to the show, if you haven't listened to the show a lot, I talk a lot about being a Christian. I talk about it not in a way that I ever want you to feel is preachy, but it's an important part of who I am. Just like, there's a lot of things that are part of our personal identities. The sports teams you cheer for, maybe some sort of charitable organization that you're involved in. Some, your heritage. People who are Italian love to talk and celebrate their Italian heritage, as they should. Irish, if you go through African American history, like all of the things that people identify, you choose these things that you identify as, that you kind of overemphasize or emphasize, maybe not overemphasize. And, we live in a world where whatever your identity is, your responsibility to the people is to make sure that you tell folks how you identify. You're supposed to make sure people understand who you are. That we're in a very outward living world. But I think that often Christians are very used to being told, "Oh, not you. You sit down. It's not your time." Well, I'm a Christian, and that sure sounds like the devil talking to me. So it's like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to sit here and say, I'm going to keep this to myself because it's time for other people. It's never time for that. If anything, the time is for everybody to be able to speak what they want, to speak it loudly without threat of violence towards them. If only we had a really important list of freedoms and rights that we had, and we put that one right at the top. That doesn't exclude me as a Christian. And it certainly doesn't exclude caller Paul, who happens to be a pastor, in a time where one of the main news stories that is out there right now is the idea that Christians are saying, I don't think I can do this one. In my Christian conscience, I don't think that I can step into the voting booth and cast a vote for one of these two candidates for president. There is a very, very important thing that you need to understand, in that your Christian calling, especially when it comes to your leaders, and I say this off air a lot more than I say it on air, but I say it on air from time to time. Find me the leader. Find me the person who God anointed to lead his people that was flawless. They are ridiculously broken people, ridiculously sinful, broken people, and yet he calls them to lead his people in the Bible over and over and over and over again. I have a theory as a non-theologically, I went to a Lutheran school, glad I did. I've studied the Bible my whole life. I certainly don't study it as much as I should anymore, but I'm working on getting back into that. in my own mind, I kind of think that God chooses very obviously broken people to lead his people so that we can be reminded of the perfect person who saved us from the brokenness. And in a time where one of the leading stories in the news cycle right now, in the political cycle right now, is that there are Christians out there who don't feel like they can, in good Christian conscience, cast a vote for one of these two individuals. Well, I got all day to sit down and talk about the people who you feel in Christian conscience are, air quotes, good enough to earn your vote as a Christian. Because we're talking about two separate things here. We're talking about God's kingdom, and we're talking about this world that we live in, where we have a biblical understanding that God has consistently appointed people to lead his people, appointed individuals to lead his people on earth, and those are not perfect people. And anytime we start to conflate that Venn diagram of people who can save us, so to speak, on earth from bad policies and bad government and take away our God-given freedoms and work to destroy what God has created on earth, and we try to morph that circle of those individuals, people who could, in good conscience, lead Americans, but also globally, and all the God, this is not like just an American thing, this is an everywhere thing. Try to morph that into the circle of people who have lived a perfect life enough so that we can look at them and consider them good people in the eyes of a broken, dark world. There's only one person in the circle on the right, and there's a bunch of people in the circle on the left, and they don't intersect. That circle on the right can cover all of the darkness and brokenness of the people on the left. But we're talking about different things. And it's important to separate that. I am a Christian. I am unashamed to be a Christian, and I have no problem casting my vote for Donald Trump because I'm not asking him to save my soul. I am asking him to save the country, and I'm okay with that. I hope you are too. Pastor Paul, thank you for calling the show. We'll be right back.
Oh God, all that you are is so overwhelming. I delight myself in you, captivated by your beauty. I'm overwhelmed by you. And God, I run into your arms, unashamed because
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFryShow.
What's it going to take for you to realize the IRS is in full-blown attack mode, and if you have IRS issues, your timely response is critical? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We certainly know the IRS has ramped up efforts because we're seeing a lot more clients with threats of intents to seize property or levy rights to property. If you have IRS issues, call the Lance Drury Firm today. Today, don't wait. Those IRS notices have hard deadlines for exercising your appeal rights. If you miss the deadline, your rights to a legal appeal are gone. Let the Lance Drury Law Firm get between you and the IRS today, and we'll help you manage your case to achieve the best outcome. IRS problems are serious legal matters, so call Lance Drury Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Don't wait. Call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120, and schedule your free consultation with me, Lance Drury, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for New Perspective Senior Living in Weldon Spring. This brand new facility offers state-of-the-art independent or assisted living and memory care. New Perspective Weldon Spring is redefining senior living. Visit npseniorliving.com to schedule a tour today.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process
process ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
I want to talk to you about Ruler Foods and how rulerfoods.com is helping my family save on our grocery purchases when we go fill our carts there, because we can fill our carts at Ruler Foods. I got a family of 6. One of them's a 14-year-old boy. That's like equates to like a family of 8, maybe. I don't know. He likes to eat. And he's growing, and my kids are always hungry, and we want to be able to buy. This is kind of the trick for our family. We want to be able to buy healthy foods so that they can eat healthy and obviously be full, but that it doesn't break us at the bank every time we go to fill those carts. That's why Ruler Foods is the answer for our family, and I hope that you give it a chance to prove to you what Ruler Foods was able to prove to us. We love the produce at Ruler Foods. We get bananas, cucumbers. My daughter, my 8-year-old, really likes kiwi. That's like a new thing. But being able to fill our cart up with produce that isn't overly expensive is very helpful in eating healthy in our home, and it's made possible by Ruler Foods. You can enjoy on a $4 for $5 Save Big sale that goes through today, and then go to rulerfoods.com for more. Smart Way pasta sauce, Smart Way dressing, $4 for $5. Armor Lunch Makers, $4 for $5. Hunt's Manwich, Joe's Olay Chimichangas, $4 for $5, and more. If you're looking to save on your groceries and make your grocery dollar stretch even further, it starts at Ruler Foods. More details online at rulerfoods.com.
Missouri's Amendment 3 is cleverly worded to convince you that it only allows abortions until fetal viability. But it has loopholes that allow for abortions through all 9 months of pregnancy. Abortion proponents used to say safe, legal, and rare. But now they want abortion as common as the morning after pill. Plus, minor-age children will have access to sex change surgeries without parental consent. Vote no on Amendment 3.
Paid for by Leadership for America PAC, John B. Royal Treasurer.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 55 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
You can help those affected by this disastrous hurricane season by visiting redcross.org or calling 1-800-RED-CROSS. Message and data rates apply. Together, we can help those who've been affected. Thanks for helping. Conservatives Care on 97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Fry Show.
Carry moonbeams home in a jar.
Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Or would you rather be a mule?
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Now, we normally have Wiggins America here. Ryan Wiggins is off. Ethan was going to do Wiggins America, but we got a phone call. We want to take this just in the essence of being fair and balanced, of course. Somebody who wants to challenge a little bit of what Pastor Paul, who just called us in the last segment, was talking about, imploring people to show up and vote in this election. And we want to have Andy on, who just gave us a call to talk about his side of this story. So, Andy, thank you for calling. The question is, how will Donald Trump finish in the election? But you were calling more, my understanding, to react to what Paul just said on the line in the last segment.
Yeah, thanks for taking the call. I think Trump probably loses a close one again. But yeah, I'm one of those Christians that's considering sitting this one out. That can't bring myself to vote for Trump. And I think, I agree with you. There's no perfect leaders, but he's really far from perfect. It's he just doesn't have compassion and humility. He's not someone who is seeking redemption or, trying to find a better way. I think he's nothing like the leader that we should be looking for from a character standpoint. And I really think that matters. So, no offense to the single issue voters who are locked in on abortion or trans rights or whatever their focus is. I get that's a big segment, but I think if that's your lens, that you're missing the big picture of somebody who's just kind of feels morally bankrupt to me. And I can't tell my teenagers, or my family or friends that I'm supporting someone that I can't get behind.
Andy, I do have a hard break coming up here, so if I have to end this conversation, I'm going to ask you, Brad, to go to 5850, which is 2 minutes longer than we normally do, just so we can have this full conversation as we possibly can, Andy. I want to know, like, if you're talking about single-issue voters, if Donald Trump's moral character, as you have seen it, is a problem with you, are you a Republican?
Yes.
You are a Republican. Would you ever muster a vote for Kamala Harris or a Democrat that have run recently?
I think I could be convinced to vote for Kamala almost to make a statement. I think in Missouri it's kind of throwing my vote away. But
I'm a Trump voter in Illinois, so I understand that. Have you assessed Kamala Harris's moral character as something that is better in your eyes than Donald Trump's moral character?
Well, it's a great question, and I think that a lot less clear to me sort of what she stands for and who she is. I'm disappointed how little access we've got to her. She's more of a mystery. And so I guess my vote tends to be more like
Not
an
Trump.
anti-Trump vote, if anything else. But I don't know. I'd be hard pressed to believe that she was as bad. I mean, I don't know.
What has
Take
Donald
this how
Trump
you
done
will,
that is?
but I don't know that if Donald Trump was if Donald Trump wasn't famous, I don't know that Paul would want him to go to his church. I don't think he'd let him in the door.
Andy, who needs to be in church?
Oh, listen, I've been a Christian my whole life. It's for people who need help. I totally understand, but I sense that there'd be a lot of judgment about someone who never admitted wrongdoing, seemed to seek absolutely no redemption.
But specifically, never admitted wrongdoing on what?
Oh, I don't think Donald Trump has admitted being wrong about a single thing in his political career.
But are you talking about his moral character or his political career? Because I don't know a lot of politicians who make public all of the mistakes that they've made.
Yeah, I think I think his entire spirit is one of I'm right and you're an idiot. And I think that's in his personal life and his political life. And he's not somebody that comes forward and says, I've made a policy mistake. And I don't think he'd come forward and say I made a personal mistake.
Well, I hate that I have to end this call, Andy, and I'm grateful that you're listening, and I'm going to ask you to keep listening, regardless of how your vote ends up this November. I have a lot more to say. Maybe we'll continue the Andy conversation later on in the show. Does that sound good, guys? Brad and Ethan are both in here.
Yeah, I'm up for it.
They want to weigh in. Andy, we appreciate you for calling in, and stay tuned because we're going to discuss this between the three of us a little bit later in the show.
I love it. Hey, thanks for putting me on.
You bet, Andy. Thank you for listening. Let's do it on the other side of the break. Are you guys open for that?
Sounds good.
Because I understand where he's coming from, but here's the key thing. I'm going to put the ball on the tee for our conversation when we go into the next hour. There is an entire well-funded apparatus invested in making sure that that's the thing that Andy thinks about the most. And that you don't even pay attention to the man behind the curtain, the woman behind the curtain, Kamala Harris. But we all have to make our decisions based on what we think is morally right. What's yours? We'll be right back.
Dirt on his face, his shoes are a terrible disgrace. He has no manners when he eats.
Stewart's American Mortgage is the home of the bagel loan. And when you are looking to get a mortgage, to get a mortgage refinance, to get one of the lower rates that are out there, you go to Stewie and he takes care of you. Why? Well, because the bagel loan is there to make sure that you can get that low rate, that you can get the low rate on your refinance and save a boatload of money on interest. He was talking to me about I think it was a 97.1 listener that he was saying a few weeks ago, they refinanced because the rates had come down. And when they refinanced, they kept their monthly payment the same, but they shaved like 8 or 9 years off the length of their loan. They could afford their current payment, but think about not having to pay for your mortgage 8 or 9 years earlier than initially anticipated. 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440. When you call or text Stewie, you start the conversation about your bagel loan, getting that interest rate locked in at a low rate and starting to save on all that interest. Google the bagel loan and MLS number 226715.
KFTK FM Florissant.
An Odyssey station.
He's
doubling down on tariffs. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Former President Trump defending his threat to use tariffs on foreign goods as a way to protect U.S. businesses if elected again, and insisting tariffs won't end up costing consumers more.
The higher the tariff, the more likely it is that the company will come into the United States and build a factory in the United States so it doesn't have to pay the tariff.
During an interview at the Economic Club of Chicago, Trump also declining to confirm any calls with Russia's president since leaving office, but telling Bloomberg News that if he did, it's a smart thing. There's a Trump rally tonight in Georgia where it's the first day of early in-person voting and where an ID is now required to get an absentee ballot. Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger.
Everything that we have done since 2019 has to improve the process, to build trust, and build your confidence in the election cycle.
Some form of early voting is already underway in most states, with more than 4 million votes already cast. The latest Fox News power rankings call the presidential race, a toss-up.
Vice President Harris leads in enough states to net 226 electoral votes. Former President Trump has the advantage in enough states to carry 219 electoral votes, both well short of the 270 needed to claim the White House. Former President Trump is gaining ground among Black and Hispanic voters, and there is a significant gender gap, with men shifting towards the former president and women shifting towards the vice president.
Fox's Jared Halpern. Harris continues outreach to Black men with an interview in Detroit today before heading back to Pennsylvania and a Fox News interview tomorrow. Renewed pressure from the U.S. on Israel to increase humanitarian aid to Gaza. The Secretaries of Defense and State sending a letter recommending changes within 30 days. The State Department says there have been ongoing conversations about a serious decrease in the level of humanitarian assistance. America is listening to Fox News.
Moments like my daughter telling me a new joke mean a lot to me. But after being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that is spread to other parts of the body, they mean even more. I take Ibrance, palbociclib.
Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for adults with HR-positive, HER2-negative MBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
It is cool, even for the middle of October. 59, 60 for the high. Tonight, clear skies. Evening temperatures will quickly drop out of the 50s into the upper 40s, going down to 35 for the low, so areas of frost away from the city. First thing Wednesday morning. Wednesday is sunny and 61. Nice Thursday and Friday. Upper 60s to near 70. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Well, I was blessed this weekend to go up to Peoria, Illinois for a volleyball tournament, and this is one of those Lutheran volleyball tournaments. I just love I'm super competitive, shocking to absolutely no one, and I love volleyball, and I love watching my daughter flourish in this. I've been around the game since I was a player in a Lutheran school when I was a kid. But it's never lost on me when I go to a tournament, 16 teams, sometimes we're at tournaments that are bigger than that, and you're surrounded by all of these families on both sides of the net, and it's so refreshing to be in an environment where you just kind of have a common understanding at some level with all of the people in there, and there's something much more important than the sport you're playing. But you still get to do these types of things when you go to a Lutheran school and do it at a very competitive level. When you attend a Lutheran elementary school, there are Lutheran high schools in the area as well, you are going to get access to these type of extracurriculars that provide great opportunity for your student, for your child, for your grandchild. But you're also going to get a top-of-the-line education. You're going to get access to STEM education and focuses. You're going to be able to partner with people who understand IEPs and provide the accommodations for them. Lutheran education is accessible for you, for your child. Lutheran education is accessible for your grandchild. You need to start the journey by going to their website. It's LESA, which stands for Lutheran Elementary School Association, LESASTL.org/Annie.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
When you're hiring for your business, ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology makes finding qualified candidates for your job easy. This made us wonder, what if the rest of the world was as easy as ZipRecruiter? Math problems wouldn't be so problematic.
K equals 42.
Escape rooms? Elementary. And summiting Everest would be a walk in the park. In the meantime, if you want to make your hiring easier, use ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Simple. So, see what the world is like when ZipRecruiter does the hard work of hiring for you. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
I can see clearly now thanks to the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, Andy Royer, and introducing Samuel Berry. You can too. Call 314-966-5000 or check out youridoc.com. That's youridoc.com.
I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. As a business owner, it's your job to anticipate constant market changes. But what do you do in the event of a divorce? Years of hard work building a business are on the line. This is not business as usual. You need an experienced partner you can count on for help. We're Cordell & Cordell.
Schedule an appointment with one of our Missouri or Illinois attorneys. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood Parkway, Suite 310, Town & Country, Missouri, 63017. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only. CordellCordell.com.
Mark Cox here. I have put together my 2024 general election voter's guide with you in mind. The direction of our nation and our state is in your hands now. Visit 971talk.com to see the Mark Cox 2024 voter guide.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio. I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Important election if you are pro-life. This is the first time there are serious pro-life laws that will be repealed if Kamala wins. You realize that if Kamala wins, the serious pro-life laws in Oklahoma, in Georgia, will be gone. And unfortunately, many of the pastors I talk to, they say, so what? Doesn't matter. So I say, what kind of point are you trying to make here? Do you actually want to protect the unborn? Or are you just trying to say that you're a better Christian than Donald Trump? Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, North Dakota will all be gone. The majority of American pastors are not speaking out at all on this election. They won't speak out against the trans mutilation of our kids. They won't speak out on the 320,000 kids being sex trafficked. They won't speak out on our open borders. They won't speak out about the wars that are happening. I thought it was a specific scripture, blessed are the peacemakers. Most pastors couldn't care less about that.
Man, Charlie Kirk there saying, I'm glad he said it this way because it's kind of what I feel like I want to communicate, but it's a very concise way of saying it. If you're saying that you can't vote for Donald Trump because your Christian faith holds you back from it, it's kind of like saying that you're a better Christian than he is. In the 1225 segment, towards the end of the segment, probably around 12:38 or so, we had the phone lines open, and we had Paul call in, who was a pastor, and he went into that. I pushed him into it. He was like he was teetering on the edge of, saying the pastor thing, and I just shoved him all the way into the I'm like, go be a pastor. I want to hear what you have to say, because this is a very top line headline right now we talk about demographics. We hear all about black men and suburban white women. Those are the two demographics that if we saw some sort of shift one way or the other with those individuals, that we would notice it in potentially outcomes of elections across the country. We don't generally talk about evangelicals, Christians, Catholics, whatever, coming out to vote and showing up and being willing to cast their vote or being interested in sitting out. There are a lot of questions right now, and Scott Pressler also provided some commentary on this, and he's adding to this issue, saying, like, we can't be in a position right now where Christians are sitting out the vote.
30% viewers, 30% of Christians are not registered to vote. And I want to remind you, Georgia in 2020 was decided by 10,000 votes. Arizona, 20,000 votes. Wisconsin, 20,000 votes. Pennsylvania, 80,000 votes. I need all of you guys, please. The last day to register to vote in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania is October 21st. So we have a couple Sundays in between now and the deadline. I need you to visit your place of worship this weekend, this Sunday, whenever you have worship, and you bring voter registration forms with you. And I don't care, respectfully, if you get the door shut in your face. This is a time of war, and I mean that peacefully. But if somebody says you can't register voters, public sidewalk is public property. You set up a vote your values voter registration table outside of Mass or outside of your place of worship, and you make sure that we are engaging with every single evangelical going into this November. And furthermore, members of our Jewish community, I want to make it clear, we are also engaging in synagogues, and Kamala is not a friend to your religious beliefs, your ideals, and President Trump is going to make sure that we have global peace, and he's going to make sure that he's protecting your religious freedom. So please spend your...
Scott Pressler, he was speaking on Real America's Voice there, talking about, what did he say, 30% of evangelical Christians are
30%
thinking about sitting out the vote?
What? Well, they're not even registered.
Well, in Illinois, you can register like when you walk in to vote. Wow. So we've had Paul call in, just as a listener to the show, said it's the first time he's ever called into a show and talk about his emphasis. And he talked a lot about Amendment 3 in Missouri and how dangerous Amendment 3 is to the lives of the unborn. Got emotional about it. It was a very, very good, compelling phone call. And Andy called in after that, and we wanted to put him on the air. And then in the 12:50 or so, 12:52 maybe, is when he called in. If you want to go check the Annie Fry Show podcast or rewatch it on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. Saying that, he feels as though he has a conflict. His faith causes him to not feel as though he can cast that vote for Donald Trump. He said that he is a Republican, and he said that he could potentially see himself casting a vote for Kamala because in Missouri it wouldn't actually affect the outcome of the election, but he wouldn't be voting for Kamala. These are all things he said. You can go back and listen to his words, and he's very kind, and we're grateful that he called in. But he said that he would be willing to consider a Kamala vote to protest Donald Trump on the ticket. And this is what you hear Charlie Kirk talking about. This is what you hear Scott Pressler talking about. Brad, you're a pastor. Is it a matter of faith when you go to the ballot box and you cast a vote for somebody? How do you parse faith, politics, culture, all of that in the circle that you choose to check?
Yeah, so my faith informs my politics. And so whenever I go into the ballot box, whenever I vote for a candidate, be it in the primary or in the general election, I look for the candidate because, like you said earlier, I'm not voting for a savior, I'm voting for a president. I look for a candidate that most aligns with and would most defend my right to freely practice my faith. That's the two things that I kind of look at, because here's the thing. Even within my own church, I find that my theological beliefs don't always line up 100% with everybody that's in there, because when we read the scriptures, we don't always get the same understanding. I mean, there's some big things that everybody agrees on, but there are little things on the outside. So you're never going to find
like
somebody...
transubstantiation and consubstantiation.
Yeah. Yeah, stuff like that.
Nerd alert.
So you have these arguments and you have these debates, but these are things that are to be debated vigorously but not divided over. Whenever I look for somebody that is a pastor, like I am under no... Based on what I've heard Donald Trump say, I'm under no thought or delusion that I think that he is a Christian, because he said things that have led me to believe that he is not. He said, now this could have changed since he said that. I don't know the man's heart, and I'm open to being wrong on this, but he's said things like, I've never felt the need for forgiveness. And it's like, well, that's kind of a big deal. That's like A1, number one center, in that. So you look at that and you say, well, how do I vote for this guy? And then you look at the other party, and I mean, she's up on the board right now, and I look at her and I see what she has said. I seen where she's changed her mind on things. I see what she hasn't changed her mind on.
What kind of Christian is Kamala Harris?
I don't know. I haven't seen much. Like, I think she went to a church over the weekend.
In a campaign season?
In a campaign season?
Are you kidding me?
And I don't know how churches get away with that, because if that happened at my church, we would lose our 501c3. You're not supposed to be...
Brad, let me ask you this question. How do you know a good Christian?
How do I know a good Christian?
How do you know if someone's a good Christian?
I don't know that I know, but I can look at their humility. Usually is one of the things I look at. I'll look at humility, and then I look at their willingness to admit that I'm not got it all figured out. I'm not perfect. There's kindness and gentleness with it, patience, love, joy, peace, self-control, stuff like that. But if I say, how do I know a good Christian? This is going to get more supernatural than natural. The Holy Spirit within me tells me that person has the Holy Spirit dwelling within them. And I'll get a good idea based on the Holy Spirit telling me. And I can't explain that in a way that somebody that doesn't know the Holy Spirit, that doesn't have the indwelling of the Holy Spirit in a way that they would understand.
As a pastor, Brad, do you think that people who don't have the Holy Spirit sense that they're missing something when they meet someone who does have it?
I think everybody does. Yeah, I think that I think if you look at everybody, they have a God-shaped hole in their life, and they're always trying to fill it with something. You can look at it and see what it is. It might be their job. It might be their lifestyle. It might be alcohol. It might be, pornography. There's just all sorts of things that people try to fill that void with in their life. And they're usually really defensive about it. Like, hands up, walls go up, don't touch that, that's mine.
I think it's incredibly dangerous for people. And, let's define what this is, because right now the question, at least for this segment and for this show, is, I guess the basic, if you're boiling the question down, is, can a Christian in good faith, and I mean the good faith in the capital F, faith, can a Christian in good faith vote for Donald Trump? And the follow-up question to that, if I'm asking myself that, if I'm reflecting myself on how to answer that question, the question I would ask myself is, well, why wouldn't I be able to vote for Donald Trump? Like, what would exclude Donald Trump from being able to earn my vote as a Christian person? I think that if you start looking at who you vote for, and let's say it's October 15th, and you're like, do I vote as a Christian? Do I vote to support this candidate or that candidate? If you start applying idealistic standards to the two choices, these are the last two people who have remained standing because of all of the campaigning and primaries that they've won. If you look at the last two people and then you start applying some superlative measuring stick to those individuals from your Christian faith, I just presume that you will never vote again. for the president of the United States. There is no person who, from the Christian standpoint, I say this as a Christian, my interpretation of the Christian faith, there's no person who is going to reach that point who is going to be the shining star example of the human that God wants us to be. Because if that is the framework with which you're choosing your vote, you're forgetting, or I would be forgetting, that every single human to walk the face of the earth, to be born into existence on this planet, every single individual one of them has, according to Scripture, fallen short of the glory of God. So they're all fallible, broken people. And then, that's the Scripture part of it. But then when you marry that with the reality of what a campaign is, Kamala Harris has raised $1 billion with a B, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
We are talking about billions of dollars that are being invested into exploiting every single thing about the opponent that can make them look bad in the eyes of the electorate. There's no morality that exists in that effort. And it goes both ways. When you have billions of dollars being invested into proving that the other candidate is a sinner, you win every time. If to me, the question as a Christian, if I'm going to vote for one of these candidates, as a Christian, if I'm looking for the person who is the good Christian, I will never find them. Because the only way a Christian is good is when they've been made good by the blood of Jesus Christ.
Come on.
That Ethan is in the studio.
Hallelujah.
Ethan is the woo girl for the Jesus stuff. But I mean, isn't that the point? You can't mix those two things. They don't intersect, because if you are looking as a Christian, if we find out, you said 30% of Christian voters aren't registered?
Aren't even registered.
If Christians are out there as a voting bloc and they're looking at the candidate who's going to earn their vote, you can't, as a good Christian, earn your vote, just like you can't, as a good Christian, earn your salvation. That is the difference here. So it's a wash. Like I said, if you as a Christian are not participating in the election because you can't be associated with these sinners, look in the mirror, folks. There's really no more to it.
Whenever you say it like that, if you as a Christian look at Donald Trump and you say, I cannot be associated with that man.
He can't be associated with you.
I could add another phrase under the or to the end of what you just said there, and it would kind of lighten up what you're seeing. I cannot be associated with that man. I'm too good for that. What I'm seeing and what I hear from that as a pastor is pride. You are letting the pride of your Christianity, or you're taking pride in your Christian quote unquote goodness. I'm too good to do that.
Ooh, and that's the devil.
And when you do that, exactly, you're actually giving over to. That's a sinful attitude. Because if you're a Christian and you truly are a Christian, you realize that you're a Christian. What you realize is that one sin is enough to keep you from heaven, because perfect is the standard. One sin is enough to keep you from heaven, and the foot of the ground at the foot of the cross is level. There's no big I's, there's no little U's. If you are a sinner, you are a sinner, and that there's no difference between the liar and the murderer. And Jesus, whenever he was on the cross, he looked at the thief that was off to his left, and he said, "Just remember me," the thief said. "Just remember me." And Jesus offered that thief forgiveness. There is no way that you can, as a Christian, look at anybody else and say, "I'm better than you. You're too sinful for me." You can't look at that, because you were too sinful for Jesus, and Jesus still forgave you.
There is no moral high ground to stand on this side of sinful brokenness to disassociate yourself politically from Donald Trump. But to wrap this up, because Joe Concha is going to be here in a minute. I don't know where he's going to take this conversation.
Buckle up.
Yeah, folks, it's going to go fast. There is no moral high ground in disassociating yourself from Donald Trump. But please also remember, there is no righteousness in voting for Donald Trump either. That cuts both ways. I really want to hear what Ethan has to say about it. So we'll talk about this a little bit more in the 2 o'clock hour. We're going to put a pin in that. I also teased this a little bit. Massive event in the Annie Fry show, or Annie Fry show family. No, not you guys. In the Annie Fry family. Something really big yesterday, and I'm going to talk about it. And like I said, it's not a big deal for anybody else, but for me, huge. We'll get to that at 2 o'clock, and we'll continue this conversation. There's a lot of feedback coming through on the Facebook page. We're going to talk to Joe Concha about the YouTube live chat poll that we have today. How will Donald Trump finish in this election? Is he going to lose in a landslide? Is he going to lose closely? Is he going to win closely? Or that possibility exists that he could win a landslide. Joe Concha on the Annie Fry Show next.
The only key know how to turn it on. The way you never lie my ear, the only words I wanna hear. Baby, take it slow so we can last long.
Tú eres el imán y yo soy el metal. Me voy acercando y voy
This
armando
is the
el plan.
Annie Fry
Solo
Show.
con pensarlo se acelera el pulso.
Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
Más de lo normal. Todos mis sentidos van pidiendo más. Esto hay que tomarlo sin ningún apuro. Despacito.
Michael's Flooring Outlet. They're online at igotfloor.com, but they're in St. Louis in 3 different spots. You can go walk on into Michael's Flooring Outlet and check it out for yourself. Meet the sales staff that is going to take it above and beyond the other locations that you're going to shop flooring at, because they're the experts. They know what they're doing, and they know how to help you achieve the goal that you're trying to achieve. Usually, I'm just going to be honest, from my position, it's like, what do I want it to look like? Now, what's the most affordable way that I can invest in something that is going to last? Because I don't want to buy the cheapest thing and end up having to replace it in half the amount of time. Get me that perfect medium where I'm paying for quality, but I'm not overpaying for quality. Michael's Flooring Outlet is ready to deliver for you. You can visit them in St. Charles County. You can also see them in West County. You can see them in Darien Prairie. They have beautiful flooring options for you. Talk about the Smart Strand carpeting with them when you walk in. If you're looking for carpet, they have an extraordinarily clean, durable, environmentally friendly version of the Smart Strand line of carpeting. If you're looking for something like that, they will give you the option to walk on it, feel it, experience it, and save on it. Online at igotfloor.com.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll move it. With access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2024 Bank of America N.A.
Every day, Cintas service reps help businesses get ready for the workday. They provide freshly laundered workwear delivered every week. Mats, mops, restroom and cleaning supplies. First aid and safety products to help your employees stay safe. They even test and inspect fire extinguishers and emergency lights. Cintas helps keep your business running smoothly. See what Cintas can do for you. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Hi, Charles Payne here at one of the exciting Money Show events where I'm presenting the keynote, broadcasting my live TV show and best of all, giving away free copies of my newest book, Unbreakable Investor. It's a $29.95 value, but if you act now, I'll give you one too.
For your free copy of Charles Payne's new book, Unbreakable Investor, text WIN to 505-505 and just cover shipping. Text WIN to 505-505. Text WIN to 505-505.
I'm handing you my investing playbook, 348 pages on how I personally invest to target the biggest returns while mitigating risk. It's how I've been with the market so I never break. Guidance so crucial for today's investors that I'm covering the cost of the book and giving you a copy for free.
To get your free copy of Charles Payne's new book, Unbreakable Investor, text the word WIN to 505-505 and just cover shipping. Text WIN to 505-505 while supplies last. Text WIN to 505-505 right now.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. 9 out of 10 homes are under-insulated. Is yours? Did you know that there's an R value associated with insulation? To find out your R value or for free insulation estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Jeff Wardog.
Question has been asked repeatedly to this White House. Who is running the show? They say Joe Biden. You ask the question, a missile's coming to America at 3 in the morning. Who handles it? The answer is the president has a team.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
You know, Joe.
I don't know nothing.
What you know, Joe?
Tell me something.
What you know, Joe?
Ain't conniving, just ain't jiving. I don't know.
What you know, Joe?
Well, I don't know Latin.
What you know, Joe?
Ain't high-hatting.
What you know, Joe?
I ain't fooling, I need schooling.
You had a case in Georgia not very long ago, didn't you? They made an ad about a young woman who'd been killed by an immigrant. Yeah, well, if they'd all been properly vetted, that probably wouldn't have happened. But if they're all properly vetted, and that doesn't happen, and America is not having enough babies to keep our populations up, so we need immigrants that have been vetted to do work.
Oh, what you know, Joe?
Joe Concha, Fox News contributor.
I don't know what Bill Clinton was trying to do. Their little replacement theory thrown in there and saying that, gosh, if this administration would have just been vetting people at the border, Laken Riley would still be alive. I need to know, Joe Concha, is Bill Clinton being paid by the Trump campaign or the Kamala Harris campaign?
I'd say that's the last time we'll be seeing old Bill on the campaign trail. I mean, you're right. Was he campaigning for Trump by saying that? Because he couldn't have said it any better, quite frankly. And, you know, my book, Progressively Worse, Why Today's Democrats Ain't Your Daddy's Donkeys, Bill Clinton plays a big role in that book. You know, he gets a full, long chapter. That's 95 Bill Clinton right there. That's him talking again. Right. And then he had to change his positions because obviously his wife runs for president and he's just got to say what you got to say in order to get her elected. So, yeah, that was refreshing. And I think you could tell he believed what he was saying. Right. Yeah. And I'm sure that the Kamala Harris campaign is like, what is going on? I mean, between this guy and Joe Biden basically undercutting us at every turn, like with DeSantis, where they went after DeSantis and said he was being selfish. And then Joe Biden's like, you know, he's really doing a great job. I gave him my personal number. He's doing so well. I was like, whoa. I mean, they're having their worst 10-day stretch that I could possibly imagine, and that's why you see the polls really now trending in Trump's direction.
Yeah, well timed for sure. We're speaking with Joe Concha, Fox News contributor, and his book, Progressively Worse. You need to read because it's a very great explanation of where the Democratic Party was and is currently. Our poll for today that we're asking our listeners is, how will Donald Trump finish the election? It does look like polling is starting to favor Donald Trump across the board. How are you feeling 3 weeks out from the decision that America has to make on how Donald Trump is going to pull numbers come November 5th?
Annie, you archive all these interviews, right? You save the tapes?
You're darn right I do.
All right, good. All right, so you can play this back on November, whatever, like 6th, 7th, 8th, whenever this election's called. Probably, I think early. You could probably play this back on November 6th. Donald Trump wins an electoral landslide.
Woo! An electoral landslide.
Yeah. Popular vote, maybe not. Who cares? Doesn't matter. Hillary Clinton won the popular vote. Al Gore won the popular vote. That got him a instead of steak knives and a concession speech. Like, it doesn't matter. But that would be an icing on the cake type of scenario. But I'm not saying this out of like it's called hope casting. I'm not injecting my feelings into this in any way, shape, or form. I think we may have talked about it, but let's underscore this again. If she's out there courting black voters right now, if the black candidate has to court black voters, that is a big problem. That should be tucked away, nice and safe, 85, 90% support, run up the score in Atlanta, Philadelphia, Detroit, so you could win Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan. Right now, she should be courting independent voters, blue-collar, working-class Democrats. No, she's courting black voters. She's on with Charlemagne the God, who I used to work with today, for example. You see all of her tweets like completely aimed at particularly black men, where she's having a severe problem with right now. And Donald Trump's getting something like, 25% of the black vote, which is 3 times what you normally would see a Republican get. So that's one leg of this stool, right? That's a big problem for her. Second leg, Hispanic voters. Hillary Clinton won Hispanic voters by the tune of a 40-point margin over Donald Trump, and she still lost. Kamala Harris isn't even getting half the support that Hillary got. So where are the votes coming from exactly? Hispanics are not happy with illegal immigration at all. Those who are here legally don't like that because their social services are being cut, their education's being cut, their police is being cut in communities of color, and they don't like it one bit because they came through legally, and now they're seeing everybody cut the line and taking everything from them, including being taken care of by local governments. That's 2. That's bad. 3, you saw that internal poll by the Teamsters, right, where Joe Biden had their support, and then you insert her in, and suddenly it goes the other direction by the tune of like 30 points. So if she can't get unions, if she can't get the Teamsters in Pennsylvania, where I think there's like 100,000 members, right? And you can say, well, but they're bad. The top tier, the people who run the Teamsters, their leadership supported her. It doesn't matter. Rank and file doesn't support her, and that's the bottom line. And why would they? That's one group. Steel workers, too, don't support Kamala Harris, I would imagine. United Auto Workers, EV mandates, bad. That's bad in Michigan as well. Restaurant workers, no tax on tips. That was Trump's idea, so they probably support him as well. So she doesn't have unions, and she doesn't have the black vote, and she doesn't have Hispanics. And throw in the fact, as the fourth leg of the stool, she is a horrible candidate. She's not good. Obama could sell it. She cannot sell it. If I got to hear about hopes, dreams, and aspirations one more time, I'm going to throw myself off the George Washington Bridge, which I'm about to go over right now. So,
Don't do that.
I look at those 4 things, and then I see the trends just all going in his direction. I'll share this. I bought his stock yesterday, DJT. It's the media company. Mm-hmm. And let's just say I'm turning a tidy profit already, right? It has gone up. Yeah, thank you. It's gone up 90% in the past month. So savvy investors, Wall Street, they say, all right, if Trump wins, that stock's worth a lot more, and people are throwing money into it. You see the betting markets now. Trump has nearly a 16-point lead there. His chances to win. You see more and more polls where national poll she's tied, which means she's losing. National poll tied means electoral college landslide the other way.
If they're tied right now, and when I know every report I hear from CNN and they're talking about it being super close and tied, they don't seem very happy. But she might be leading by a half a point or a point. What does that mean when you say that?
If she wins by 2 points or less, the reason why Trump then wins almost every swing state is because you look at 2016 and you look at 2020. In 2016, you had Hillary Clinton up at this stage 7 or 8 points nationally, all right? Nationally, popular vote. And Clinton won by, I think, 2.3, and she still lost the Electoral College. Then you have Joe Biden, who at this stage was up anywhere from 9 to 10 points. And then he only ends up winning by, 44,000 votes in Wisconsin, Arizona, and Georgia. So you have to have a pretty massive lead in the popular vote in order to win those key swing states. If it's anywhere 3 or below, I'll call it, then Trump wins based on what we saw in 2016 and 2020. And again, in those swing states like Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, I just don't see working class voters connecting with her because she's an elitist who grew up in Montreal, not a middle-class neighborhood, but a very, very nice residence in Montreal. And then she's San Francisco, California. And again, she's not making any compelling economic argument that says she's going to make this country better. And the economy's stupid every time.
Joe Concha speaking with us right now, Fox News contributor, author of Progressively Worse. Go check that book out right now. Do you feel like Kamala Harris, I'm going to say Kamala Harris / the Democrats, because she's 80-something days into this campaign. Do you feel like they completely fumbled the ball, or was this team inferior from the beginning to put them in the position where they're looking like, as you called it, a potential landslide loss come November 5th?
inferior from the beginning because, like we talked about, she's not a good candidate. She's not good outside of a teleprompter. She is a human Chernobyl. Also, maybe, just maybe, if you held like a fair primary and folks got to see Joe Biden in a debate against a Democrat, maybe you could have replaced him faster, right? And not replaced him by installing someone like they did with Kamala Harris, but actually having, a lightning kind of primary. And maybe you end up with like a Josh Shapiro as your nominee. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's Polis, the governor out of California. Maybe it's Gretchen Whitmer, who's profoundly weird, by the way, as we're seeing. But still,
so weird.
You probably get, or maybe you get Hillary Clinton again, where I would give her a shot. Because she's actually decent in interviews. She's not likable, but she's at least coherent. She doesn't sound so, and I hate using this word with anybody, but stupid, right? I mean, Kamala Harris is not a smart person. That is an empty vessel that we're seeing here, clearly. So if they went through that process, then maybe they'd be in better shape. And then when she gets the nomination, her first big decision, what do I do? Who should be my running mate? And you got a couple of people out there that probably would have been pretty good as far as what she needed, especially Josh Shapiro, because you lose Pennsylvania, you lose this election, and he's at 65% approval there. And you go, no, I'm going to take the goofy sitcom dad from Minnesota who let his Minneapolis burn to the ground, puts tampons in boys' rooms, and the guy is just completely and totally looks like a deer in the headlights, like the deer is about to be taken out by an 18-wheeler whenever he does interviews. So I just, again, yes, this is all self-inflicted. And by the way, the conditions on the ground are horrible for any incumbent, right, as far as inflation, the border, crime, and foreign policy. So you add it all up, and, yeah, this is on them. And Donald Trump has been very disciplined lately, right? He's not taking the bait, not doing another debate, not going on CNN town halls. He's just like, all right, I'm in the lead right now, and I'll let her be the focus. If she's the focus, they lose.
So the question I was going to ask you there, and you sort of answered this already, do you assess this as a Kamala loss, a Trump win, or maybe both?
Oh, boy. It is both, yeah, I think. I always wonder, what if DeSantis was the nominee, right? What if Glenn Youngkin was the nominee? What if J.D. Vance was the nominee? Would this race not be so tight? In other words, Trump motivates the other side more than anybody. So when I see that it's neck and neck nationally, you're like, how could that possibly be, given how bad of a candidate she is, how horrible things are on the ground, and that people want change? So, but maybe Trump isn't changed in some people's eyes because he's already been president. But I don't mind those years when he was president outside of COVID. If you're changing back to that, then you're fine. So, yeah, I think Trump's always Trump. I think his ceiling is always like 48, 49%. And that's that. I mean, he's not the most disciplined candidate. He goes off on these weird tangents sometimes. He didn't do well in the debate. He had opportunities and he really could have put her away, and he didn't. So he's not a perfect candidate. But then again, would Glenn Youngkin really motivate, or DeSantis really motivate people the way Trump does to vote for him? So I can't figure the guy out. But if he wins here, it'd be unprecedented, right? I mean, you're president, and then you're out for 4 years, and you come back and win again, or maybe it happened like with Grover Cleveland or someone. But in the modern era, I mean, let's put it this way: if you told me on January 7th, 2021, that Donald Trump would be the odds-on favorite to win the presidency, I would say you're effing crazy.
Yeah, I know. It's almost unbelievable. We're right next to the dump button. Joe Concha, we know you got to run, but I want to ask you one more question. I'd be remiss if I didn't. Brett Baer, Kamala Harris tomorrow. Your expectation of how that affects the campaign, and also any comments you have towards people who are questioning Brett Baer's ability to be fair in that interview with Kamala Harris.
I'm so glad you asked that, Annie, because I see it online.
Yeah.
And I don't get it, because I watched, again, Brett Baer interview Barack Obama when Obama was president. And that I would consider that probably the toughest interview Obama did in 8 years. Hey, go back and watch it, right? He did not let him go on many issues, had some follow-ups. He was accused actually of not being respectful enough to Mr. Obama during that interview. So if that's the precedent, then, well, anybody who's saying that Brett Baer is actually anti-Trump and is actually a Kamala supporter, like I see online. And if I could hear one more time, by the way, that Brett Baer called Arizona early. The polls were closed, all right? A decision desk in our building then says, here's your winner. He's got to read it. What's he supposed to do? I know you guys have all the data in front of you while I've been anchoring, right? But he gets blamed for that somehow. And then, this whole thing, well, Trump would have won if Fox didn't call Arizona. How does that remotely make any sense? He still needed, 2 other states.
Yeah.
So I'm not ready with this. It's going to be a tough, fair interview. She's going for 30 minutes, no commercials, no edits. She hasn't done this before. It's going to be the end of her campaign by the time this thing is over. That I can guarantee you, if Charlemagne the God already doesn't take her out, because that's not going to be easy either, believe me.
Just before people react to this interview and talk about never Trumper Joe Concha, he did say earlier in the interview that he literally bought the stock. So I don't think that that's something that can be applied to you, Joe Concha. We love you. Thank you for being with us.
It's like, yay, Trump. I see an opportunity to make money here. That's all it is.
Yeah.
I think he's going to win, therefore the stock's worth more. That's all. It's a prediction.
Very Trumpian of you, Joe Concha.
Thank you. I bought Apple also, I have to admit. And that NVIDIA. Thank you, NVIDIA. Oh, AI, baby.
We
I'll just
appreciate
get my
you.
whole portfolio at this point.
We're going to follow your stock tips. You and Nancy Pelosi. Thank you, Joe.
I'm the Paul Pelosi of this interview. Take care.
We'll talk to you again soon. Thank you so much. Joe Concha, always love talking to him. Fox News contributor, and please consider a great read, Progressively Worse, Why Today's Democrats Ain't Your Daddy's Donkeys. This is a great read for people who have been moderate, maybe a little bit left, maybe are left socially, right fiscally. You don't really know where that puts you right now. You feel politically homeless. Progressively Worse is a great book, and Joe Concha, wonderful as always. We love having him on the show. Quick break. When we come back, let's get to Wiggins America, which is an hour later. And we've got Ethan in for Wiggins, who is taking the day off today with his family, which is great, and we'll have him back tomorrow. Wiggins America next. Don't go away.
Oh, what you know, Joe?
I just can't figure.
What you know, Joe?
I don't dig you.
What you know,
You're listening to The
Joe?
Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
'Cause I don't know.
First off, I'm going to tell you to go to retirementkey.com. That's the website. You can check it out right now, retirementkey.com. Learn about what the Retirement Advisory Group can do for you. When you are nearing retirement, now I'm 40. I got some years ahead of me. I've got some major ups and major downs in the stock market, I'm sure, before I get to the place where you are right now, which is I can't afford any more major downs. A nice up would be great, but you risk the ups with the downs. You need to make sure that your nest egg is protected. That's where Thomas Helbig, Bob Kershaw, and Tammy Kershaw come in with their family-owned and operated business to help guide you in that transition. It's a very important time. You need to not miss the opportunities to make the smart moves to protect that nest egg. That's where you go to the Retirement Advisory Group. You can call them at 314-993-9494. 314-993-9494 and schedule your personalized structured income plan retirement review. Find them online at retirementkey.com.
Attention Missouri Medicaid members. If you need assistance with daily living, you can receive a free service from Freedom Care in your own home from a loved one. With Freedom Care, you decide who provides your daily care with help preparing meals, bathing, laundry, transportation, and more. A family member or friend that gets paid instantly after every shift. It's all funded by Medicaid and 100% free to you. Call now to check your eligibility. New to Medicaid, the Freedom Care family will guide you through enrollment, making it stress-free for patients and caregivers. With over 5,000 five-star Google reviews, we've perfected at-home care for Medicaid members and caregivers. This service is free to you through Medicaid, and with our InstaPay app, caregivers are paid instantly. So go to freedomcare.com or call 314-557-7915. 314-557-7915. 314-557-7915.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are now open for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Enter now at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Jewels on Hampton and St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler featuring Alvanza's jewel art designs with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks and sports memorabilia and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa, and jewelsonhampton.com. Call them at 314-752-5000, 314-752-5000, and jewelsonhampton.com. Jewels on Hampton.
So this new dose is, nope, that's not it. The price is nowhere to be found.
Mr. Green? Hi, it's all good. We've got this.
This is not just help from a Walgreens pharmacist.
Oh, new prescriptions. Cool. Let me check to see if these are the lowest cost options covered by your Medicare plan.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
This is someone supporting you every step of the way. Chat with a pharmacist today to find help saving. This is the human kind of help. Walgreens.
Point!
Hey, you okay? You don't normally miss those shots.
I just haven't been as regular lately, and it's making me feel sluggish.
You should try Metamucil. It's been a game changer for me. Metamucil's plant-based psyllium fiber helps trap and remove the waste that weighs you down.
Ace!
You're moving better than you were last week.
Definitely.
Metamucil keeps you moving. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Learn more at metamucil.com.
Today's YouTube live chat poll is, how will Donald Trump finish the election? Will he lose in a landslide? Will he lose closely? Will he win close? Or will he win in a landslide?
I love the excitement that there's so much like, ooh, what's going to happen?
I'm trying, man. I'm trying to do things. I mean, Ryan comes in here and just mails it in every week. And so I got to try to do better than that. And maybe if I do well, he will step his game up. So how will Donald Trump finish?
That's not how it works.
No, it's not at all. How will Donald Trump finish the election? Lose, landslide, lose close, win landslide. We want to hear what you think on that. So what we need you to do is jump on YouTube, search Annie Fry, and then go to our live stream, vote in the poll, leave us a comment in the chat, tell us why you voted the way you voted. The time is 1:50, and this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
If your family has been touched by Alzheimer's, join with 97.1 listeners and many others at St. Louis Walk to End Alzheimer's on Saturday, October 26th at Chesterfield Park. It's a community of support. Register today at 971talk.com/events.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Come with me now. Come with me now.
Wiggins!
Wiggins, you're so tall.
Well, I woke up this morning and I looked in the mirror and things were a little bit different. I got bit on the hand by a spider last night.
No,
so I'm thinking
you did
maybe
not.
that's what had to do with it, maybe. So
one of those hairy spiders, because the flow is going today.
In Spider-Man, it's like you just get stronger, but I also got better looking. So I don't know if that, I don't know. Maybe it's an alternate universe Spider-Man or
Ryan's
something.
altering his travel plans right now.
Listen, what?
This is unbelievable. Okay, Wiggins America time. So, Ryan makes this look so easy, guys that are listening. It's not.
You know Ryan's philosophy of lowering standards, right?
Yeah. What
like
did
he
say?
said he did this with his wife.
I forget what he told me last time. What his advice was: fail big and fail hard, or something like that. So my thought
I think
was
it's along the lines of just no fear.
Yeah, something like that. So my thought was, well, let's go in with something that perhaps this audience could bring some new information to this audience. And what I bring is a younger generation, I guess, or a perspective from a younger generation than Ryan. Yes. And Annie, I thought this might be helpful to you.
Okay.
Because your oldest is 14, is that right?
Yeah, 15 in December. Permit.
Man. That's horrifying. So I figured let's go ahead and test out your knowledge on some of the common teen slang.
Okay.
What do you think?
I'm ready.
So my thought is I'm just going to take you through some of the more common ones. And that way, when eventually your children are saying these things, you won't be like, what did you just say?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to start off with a simple one.
Mm-hmm.
How about this? I'll ask you if you've heard it or if you know what it means.
Okay.
When someone says the word Addie to you, do you understand what that means?
Address? I don't know.
So yes. So like someone might say, hey, drop the Addy.
Yeah, I've not heard that. That would be my guess.
Drop the Addy, and that means that they want to know where they're going to, where they're hanging out, but also it's used for Snapchats as well. Like, hey, I need your Addy as well. So here's one that you guys probably have heard this one before. I have a question about this one. Aesthetic. I don't understand the point behind the word aesthetic.
I think that kids just think it's a fancy word.
It means vibe, basically.
Which
like
is a
what
terrible
it's the vibe, but what's the point behind it besides, like you said, it's just kind of a fancy word.
It's a fancy word.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that we agree on that one. Cap. Have you heard of cap?
Yeah.
Okay. Caps.
That's a lie.
Caps.
Not untrue.
Yes, exactly.
No
Caps,
cap means for real.
Yes. Okay. So this is good because this is one of the more popular ones.
I don't say it, but I do hear it.
Okay, so now I'm gonna bring in one that is a little bit newer to me.
Okay.
But maybe you've had some experience with this. Are you familiar with girl math?
Yes, only because I've seen. I don't use any of these phrases, but it's essentially like justification for spending money. Usually.
Okay, so eventually with the daughters, you're gonna make sure that they're not following girl math. I have a video here that I want to play on the stream for you guys. You ready here?
Mm-hmm. Let's go.
Now let's get into girl math. Let's start with what makes something free. If I pay for it with cash, it's free.
No.
If I pay for it with a gift card, even if I loaded money onto the gift card myself, it's free. The money's already there.
No.
I didn't have to pull from my bank account.
That's dumb.
Now here's where it gets a little complicated.
No.
If I return an item, the next item that I buy with that money,
not free.
Also free.
No, it's not.
But if I returned an item and I didn't buy something, I made money.
You're an
I made
idiot.
profit. A good example of this would be a security deposit. Send in this security deposit for like an apartment, and then when you get it back, when you move out, you just made money.
No,
if I was gonna go out tonight and then I changed my mind last minute, I also just made money. But if I was gonna go out tonight and I didn't go out tonight, but then I Uber Eats dinner, that was free as well.
No, it's not.
Because I would have spent the money.
No, because
but
you're
I
an
didn't
idiot.
spend the money, but then I did spend the money. Now it's free. I hope this clarifies some things for you guys.
So it's very important, Annie, that eventually you pass on to your girls that girl math is not real math.
Let me just insert here a little blurb for Lutheran education. If men called that girl math, it would be sexist.
Yep. This is true.
That's all I have to say.
What time are we out here?
58.
58. Oh, lovely. Okay, so that one was the one. I think that one's probably the biggest one as far as just. It's a little bit scary that people actually in my generation think like that.
I mean, just call it what it is. You're just justifying bad decisions.
Mm-hmm. You ever heard of drip?
Yes.
I got sparkly drip today.
You do have some sparkly drip.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good one because that's also another
Clothing,
popular one.
your
a
appearance.
really cool outfit. If you got some nice shoes on, you're just looking nice and sharp.
Nice
that's
drip.
called drip to the younger ones. This is one I hadn't heard of. Delulu. You ever heard of Delulu?
Is it delusional?
Yeah, you're pretty good at this. You're just kind of you're just kind of
Don't tell the kids that I know what they're saying. It's a secret.
It's used to call out someone in a humorous way for choosing to reject reality
Yeah,
in
girl
favor
math
of a
is
more
Delulu.
interesting, appealing interpretation of events. The example is, did you hear what that guy at Chipotle said to me? I said, it was love at first sight. He just said, have a nice day. I think he says to every customer, you're completely Delulu.
Yeah, how cute.
Okay, I'll finish with two more here. Gucci.
That's like cool, but I thought that was kind of old.
Some of these
Gucci, it's cool.
Some of these have been around
trendy,
for a little bit,
yeah.
but they're still being used.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't understand why we go from a clothing brand to trying to
for a bunch
make
of
it
people
sound
who
like
can't
everything's
afford
good.
anything that's actually Gucci.
Okay, last one. Let them cook.
Oh, I was wondering if this was. I was going to say we're going to let Ethan cook here.
That's kind of what
It's
Trump.
It's like basically saying let them do their thing.
The equivalent would be that Trump cooked on his music playlist last night at the town hall.
Ooh, which we're going to talk about next. You are cooking,
Cooking.
Ethan.
He's got that W Riz over
Tomorrow, when Wiggins America happens and Ryan comes in here, I'm going to call for the righty from the bullpen, and you're going to come in and take over. And I'm just going to say, Ryan.
Get out, old man. Your time is up.
Ryan, step aside. Let Ethan cook. We'll be right back.
One of the things with running is I want to enjoy the run, but I never made it very far because the arches in my feet just killed me. So when I got to the end of my rope and I said I have to do something to get rid of the pain, and a couple people recommended the Good Feet store to me. I loved how I could go in and get a free personalized arch support fitting. They put that time, that work, that effort into helping you find the right arch supports. And you can walk around this store with these in your shoes and try them out before you purchase them. So after I got my arch supports, the arches of my feet stopped hurting and the pain instantly, literally instantly went away. So if you have pain, go. Find a Good Feet store and go. There is an answer. Find the simple solution that will get rid of your pain. I'm Rondi, and that's my Good Feet story.
See how Good Feet arch supports work for you before you buy with a free fitting and test walk at the Good Feet store.
Visit one of our 2 locations, Creve Coeur and Shiloh, Illinois, and at goodfeet.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
An urgent appeal from the U.S. to Israel. Lisa Brady, Fox News. In a letter to Israeli counterparts, the defense chief and secretary of state recommending steps to increase humanitarian aid in Gaza within 30 days, though it's not being characterized as a threat to withhold military aid to Israel.
I would note that the Biden-Harris administration made a similar request for concrete measures with respect to humanitarian assistance back in April through a similar form, a letter.
White House National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby says that received a constructive response, but that an increase in humanitarian aid was not sustained. Former President Trump challenging Vice President Kamala Harris to take a cognitive test, telling Bloomberg News he aced 2 of them.
I think that, frankly, people, regardless, should take, if they're 50 or 40, or I think people should take cognitive tests, not because of the age, but because of something else.
During that interview at the Economic Club of Chicago, also rejecting concern that tariffs on foreign goods would mean higher costs for consumers. He rallies in Georgia tonight while Harris visits Detroit before a Fox News interview tomorrow in Pennsylvania. The U.S. Supreme Court is leaving in place a Pennsylvania gun law that allows an emergency exception.
Pennsylvania is one of many states that bars those under the age of 21 from purchasing handguns, but a state law said 18 to 20-year-olds should be allowed to carry guns during emergencies. That law was challenged, and a lower court said it couldn't stand, given the U.S. Supreme Court's decision in Bruin. Bruin said gun laws have to be consistent with the nation's historical tradition of firearms regulation. The Pennsylvania court said since a similar law wasn't in place when the Second Amendment was ratified, it had to be overturned. But the U.S. Supreme Court disagrees, overturning that ruling and allowing the state law to stand.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. That ruling was issued with no noted dissents. America is listening to Fox News.
Moments like hearing my cat purr good morning mean a lot to me. But after being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that is spread to other parts of the body, they mean even more. I take Ibrance, palbociclib. Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for adults with HR-positive, HER2-negative MBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
It is cool, even for the middle of October. 59, 60 for the high. Tonight, clear skies. Evening temperatures will quickly drop out of the 50s into the upper 40s, going down to 35 for the low, so areas of frost away from the city. First thing Wednesday morning. Wednesday is sunny and 61. Nice Thursday and Friday. Upper 60s to near 70. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Gain peace of mind that your flooring and carpet installation will be done right the first time when you hire the experts at Michael's Flooring Outlet. They give all their clients attentive personal service, even bring toys for the kids of the household. It's a family-owned and operated business for 25-plus years. They make sure you make the right choice for your home. So if you have carpets or hard floors, you're going to be happy for years to come. 3 convenient locations in St. Charles County, 116 Main Street, in Old Town St. Peters at Mid Rivers and Highway 70, in West County on Olive, and the store in Darden Prairie. Michael's Flooring Outlet, igotfloor.com.
When you're hiring for your business, ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology makes finding qualified candidates for your job easy. This made us wonder, what if the rest of the world was as easy as ZipRecruiter? Math problems wouldn't be so problematic.
K equals 42.
Escape rooms? Elementary. And summiting Everest would be a walk in the park. In the meantime, if you want to make your hiring easier, use ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Simple. So, see what the world is like when ZipRecruiter does the hard work of hiring for you. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Window World, the windows that are simply the best for less. That's very important when you're shopping for a big project like that in your home. You want to improve the thermal efficiency of your house. And you've been looking at these windows. The seals are cracked. They don't do what they're supposed to do. The air you're heating and cooling is seeping out into the outside, and it's wasting you money. Plus, they look bad. That's just the way it goes. After windows have been in place for quite a while and their builder's grade, you need the improvement, but you need to shop at a place that you can trust. Window World is that place. Visit them online at windowworldSTLewis.com. That's windowworldSTLewis.com. And you can talk to them about a window replacement in your home. Call them for a free estimate at 314-993-1800. That's 314-993-1800. Now, it is opening day for the St. Louis Blues, and I'm very proud to be able to tell you that Window World is the preferred window of the St. Louis Blues. And if you call them at 314-993-1800, 314-993-1800, and you mention my name, Annie Fry, or The Annie Fry Show, you will be entered to win a drawing of 4 St. Louis Blues tickets during this season. Window World plans to draw one time each month this fall. 314-993-1800. You're replacing your windows anyway. Get your free estimate. Call Window World, and do not forget to mention my name, windowworldSTLewis.com.
If you're experiencing low energy, brain fog, or bloating, then your body might need a detox. Active Liver from New Nordic makes it easy to help your liver to detox your body all year long without major changes to your diet or lifestyle. Active Liver is available in stores at CVS or online at Amazon.
We know you've got an interesting take on things. You can tell us by clicking the microphone button next to Listen Live when you're on the Odyssey app. Record a short message for us to hear when you tune into 97.1 on the Odyssey app.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Happy Tuesday. I teased a little bit earlier in the show that there's something big that happened to me yesterday, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. We're going to wait till Ethan gets back in the studio to have that conversation. But I also have a photo to go along with it, and I'll be sharing that. This weekend we were in Peoria for volleyball, and we had a good tournament. Silver bracket champions. We had pool play, 4 teams per pool, and we went 1-2 in our pool. We lost our first match in 3 sets, close sets, good game, lost to a good team. We beat them earlier in the year. They got us in 3 this time. And then the second game, we lost in 2. They're a good team also. And we played 3 matches in one day, and that was after a 2.5-hour drive up north that started at 7 a.m. So we had a really long Friday. Turned around Saturday, and then we won the rest of the games in the tournament. So it is what it is. You make lemonade out of lemons, and they played well and tried to push through a lot of adversity. So happy to do that. Happy to be back. But even 4 days. Yesterday was Columbus Day, and that day was, my husband's a teacher, as many of you know, so he had yesterday off, and the kids had yesterday off, so I took it off knowing we would be gone for a long weekend. You kind of, this is anybody, I suppose, but if you go away for a weekend, you got 4 kids, and you get back, and there's like, you got to put everything away, you got to go through all of this recovery from spending a weekend away. I thought, okay, everyone else is going to be off, I'll take yesterday off. And the news cycle, while I was gone, like I just kept seeing, there is no break in the stories that are coming out and really continuing to drive the news cycle in the direction it's headed. With 21 days to go for this campaign season, it's going to be over just like that. It's going to be gone, and it's going to be behind us, and then we're going to be in the position to react. And I don't know how ready I am for us to have something to talk about that happened, as opposed to something to talk about that is going to happen, that is as magnificently pivotal as the next election. Kamala Harris could be the next president of the United States. So could Donald Trump. That's just kind of mind-blowing to me. I mean, we've been talking about it forever, but like we're almost there.
And I think for me, at least, the part of the reason that it's so mind-blowing is that it's something, A, that we've been looking forward to for so long, and B, they're so drastically different of outcomes. So if like Kamala Harris becomes president, that is drastically different than what would happen if Donald Trump would become president. And, you know, for you and me at least, one is drastically better than the other, and you kind of don't know how to feel about it. And like right now, there's a little piece in the fact that it hasn't happened yet.
Yes, I wish the Cardinals were in the playoffs. Completely, totally wish they were. But the amount of pressure and stress when the Cardinals are in the playoffs in October, like that weighs on me because I'm a big fan and I care. And it's, as you get older, I'm working on it, folks. 40 years old this year. I am reminding myself that if my team loses, the next day the sun still rises in the east. Like it's just kind of one of those things where you I don't know if you care less, but you just care about other things more, that the priority order just gets shifted. It's not like you care. It's not like you stop caring about things that you cared about before. But as you move through your life, while your care for, like, say, the sports team that you support stays the same, there are just other things that you just care about, like, with your whole heart in its entirety, in a way that you just get to it when you can get to it. The Blues season starts today. And do you have any take on where their season is going? I am a huge supporter and fan of the St. Louis Blues, but I don't follow hockey the way I follow baseball.
So Ethan talked about this a little bit on Friday. Here he comes. That didn't take long.
Good grief. I summoned him. It's like, caw, and then Ethan comes in.
Hello.
Hi, caw. This is Battle Hawks.
Yeah.
Did you come in here to talk about the Blues?
Yeah, of course.
Are they going to be good?
Ish. So it's kind of an interesting track. It's now, before last season, Doug Armstrong basically said that the Blues are entering a retool, not a rebuild.
It's like a St. Louis thing.
Yeah, unfortunately, right now it is. The good thing, though, is that Doug Armstrong is off to a very good start with it. A couple years ago when the Blues had what was for them a historically bad season, they drafted very well. It's really hard, and the Cardinals have been in the same spot now. It's really hard when you aren't getting top 10 picks in the draft to consistently be good and have a top farm system. And the Blues kind of just fell into a spot where they just kind of had mediocre talent coming up because they weren't able to get the top guys in the NHL draft because they're constantly pretty good. Mm-hmm. So the Blues finally were able to get some of those top picks, and they've drafted very well. So it's kind of replenished their farm system. But also this past offseason, Doug Armstrong was able to speed up that process a little bit by bringing in a couple of guys from Edmonton on what was called an offer sheet. It's to save you guys time and interest. something that is not done very often in hockey. Took advantage of another team being really right up against the cap, and took advantage of that and got a couple of really young, talented players from Edmonton.
Sounds like smart business.
Yes, very smart business, and honestly, it's a perfect way to encapsulate Doug Armstrong being one of the best front office guys in hockey. What that did is it basically sped up the process for the Blues to be able to continue finding their way back to being one of the best teams in the NHL.
So they're going to be competitive this year?
They're going to be borderline playoff team this year. If they get in, it's going to be close. They're going to be a wild card team likely.
This is all about managing expectations. This is what you do in politics also. Like, it's really fun. Well, fun. It's exciting is the right word. To watch a candidate or watch a team that is pulling people together and trying to do something to exceed expectations. If you're a St. Louis Cardinals fan and you're used to a perennial playoff team, and then they don't make the playoffs or they haven't won a playoff game in Molly's lifetime, I don't know. How long has it been since they've won?
The last time that they won a playoff game was 2019.
Holy crap.
Yeah. No.
A game or a series?
That's a lie.
We're talking about the Cardinals. I was
2020, they won a game. They won a game against
Nobody paid attention in 2020.
San Diego.
I guess everybody paid attention.
2021, they lost in the wild card.
So
2020, they got swept. Yeah,
Molly
2020.
Molly was born in 21.
Okay.
So Molly has not lived to know, because this is all we talk about in my house. Yeah, I know. She's so deprived. That's tough. Well, it's exciting to know that the Blues could be competitive, but to understand, like, when we talk about retooling, maybe not rebuilding, but retooling, it's like you set the expectations. Like, listen, this could go one of two ways, but we're playing it like we want it to be success.
Yeah.
But you know going in that you got to watch to see if it becomes a success.
Right.
That's smart business too. In October, I expect October to have Cardinals baseball in it. It doesn't.
It hurts.
It hurts. It sucks.
It does suck.
But we're kind of getting acclimated to it. That's bad.
That is bad.
But when it's a presidential year, and you are also watching the Cardinals do playoff baseball, it's very difficult for me to manage that much energy and hopefulness.
Yeah.
It's the highs are too high and the lows are too low.
Yeah, it's almost like God said just for you, Annie Fry, that he was going to keep the Cards out of the playoffs this year because there's a big old presidential election, and he knows that you just wouldn't be able to take it. Your poor little heart just wouldn't be able to handle it.
Man, you just pissed St. Louis off towards me for the whole area.
Well,
it's Annie's fault.
God's word's not mine.
Oh, no.
What is your thought? Speaking of God's words, and a nice little segue and shift here.
Nice.
What is your thought on 30% of evangelical voters not being registered to vote, or this idea that, like, just the question, not the assumption, but the question of, as a Christian, I don't know if I can vote for Donald Trump. Can I vote for Donald Trump as a Bible-believing Christian?
I have a hard time when it comes to politics, especially with the presidential race, focusing on it just being about one person. Like, yes, like, you are voting for Trump if you put the check mark next to Donald Trump. But I think that it's more than that. It's what comes with Donald Trump. It's what comes with the side of the alley that he represents. And that's where, we've talked a lot in the past about the good morality, the values, the principles that the Republican Party is built on and tends to align more with my Christian values, beliefs, morals. It's not about Donald Trump, because I think that everything that you guys said in the 1 o'clock hour was spot on with that. When you start to get really sucked in on the individual, on the character, it can be really, really easy to pick that person apart.
Yeah.
And that can happen on both sides.
Now, you could do it to me.
Yeah, exactly.
You could do it to any of us, especially if you had, like, unlimited resources.
And I'm not saying it would be as bad for everyone else in the world. No one's saying that Donald Trump is perfect, that he hasn't made some mistakes. But when you're in the limelight for your entire life, every single mistake that you make is out there. It's blown up. And that's part of, I guess that's part of the reality when that's the life that you choose to live. But for us everyday American citizens, you know, the mistakes we make, the dumb things that we do, not saying that all of them are to the level necessarily of some of the mistakes that Trump has made, but those aren't out there. We're not having to constantly hear about those from the American people. And like I said, that's part of what comes with running. That's part of it. But it would be crazy for someone to say that it doesn't happen more with Trump than it does with other people. And that's because the media specifically wants to expose that. So it goes back to, it can't be about, in my opinion, as far as the morality, the individual person. I think that Trump has shared and he has preached in the past, his beliefs. And I think that the work that he has done is enough evidence of that he cares. And I think that everything that we saw from 2016 to 2020, I think proved that. So it's really hard when you make it about the individual person rather than the principles of what that person is representing in their party.
Do you think Donald Trump's a Christian?
Oh, geesh. Have we not heard him? Has he not said, publicly spoke about believing that Jesus Christ is his Lord and Savior?
I mean, Brad, you said earlier that you don't think he's a Christian.
I haven't heard of that.
I 100% think he's a Christian. I've heard him talk in that regard. I think he's a Christian, and I think that he's a Christian in the way a lot of people are Christians. I think that there is a Christian faith that a lot of people hold. Maybe they're raised with it, and it's almost more like it's a tradition. My family was Catholic, so I'm Catholic. But maybe you're a Catholic who doesn't go to church outside of the major holidays or when there's like a family event or something like that.
Okay, but let's say that he's not. As a Christian, if he's not, okay.
You as a Christian, if Donald Trump is not a Christian.
Correct. You not voting, what's the damage that's going to potentially cause, right? Is that going to hurt
That's a great question.
Donald Trump more? Or is it going to hurt you more? Because, like you said, if it's about the party, if it's about the ideals of the party, not voting for Trump, I think it's closer to voting for. It's a non-vote for Trump is basically a vote for Kamala in my mind, and that's going to hurt you.
Yeah, you have something.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I was gonna say. Well, the other side of that is too you don't even have to think about how much harm it's going to do to you. You can think about the other people. You look at the economy and how things have been going, and if you look at the people that can least afford to have such a bad economy, your staying home is actually putting them under tremendous hardship. And for what reason? Because you say you can't do it. You can't bring yourself to vote for that man because he's so sinful.
Let's take a quick break here. When we come back, we can talk more about this and get some of your reaction to it as well. The YouTube live chat poll, how will Donald Trump finish in the election? Is he going to lose in a landslide? Is he going to lose a close one? Or is he going to win a close one or possibly even win a landslide? We had Joe Concha on at 125, and he answered this question, and he said, win in a landslide. That was the Joe Concha contribution. What is yours? Go to the Annie Fry YouTube channel and vote right there and tell us what you think. I'll read some of your comments when we come back. And I'm going to tell you boys in here and everybody listening about the major thing that happened yesterday. I want to share it with y'all when we come back. Don't go away.
You look like an angel. Walk like an angel.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Talk like
Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
You're the devil in the sky.
The Diamond Shop is in Clayton. Right now you can go online and visit them and learn a little bit about them. Sign up to be a VIP as well at thediamondshop.net. thediamondshop.net. You got to put this date on your calendar. It's this Thursday, October 17th. You need to go to the Diamond Shop if you have been thinking about getting engaged. If you are planning on getting engaged and you need to shop for that ring, this is the time to go in and save 30% on your engagement ring purchase that evening, but an additional $100 credit towards your future purchase of a wedding band. This is a great opportunity to save. It's the Sip and Shop event at the Diamond Shop on Thursday. You need to make sure that you show up and you get the opportunity there to save big on something absolutely stunning, beautiful, and timeless for your loved one. Throughout the month of October, you can also save 50% off all diamond studs. This is a great opportunity for you to save, and it is, as always, the best people in the business, the Diamond Shop. They've been in St. Louis since 1910. They've been in Clayton here more recently than that. Beautiful store, beautiful items for you, beautiful people, and they are waiting for you to come visit them this Thursday at the Sip and Shop event for those folks who are looking to get engaged. Online at thediamondshop.net.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-580-7766. 800-580-7766. That's 800-580-7766.
Weather can be unpredictable nowadays, but your local news station on the free Odyssey app has got you covered. Whether you need an umbrella, windbreaker, or an extra layer, or two, we'll let you know. Download the free Odyssey app and search for your local news station to listen on your smartphone or ask your smart speaker to play it before you head out the door. Download the free Odyssey app and search for your local news station. That's AUDACY.
Are you a business owner looking to grow and succeed? The St. Charles Regional Chamber is here to help. I'm Scott Tate, President and CEO. As the region's largest chamber with nearly 1,200 members, we offer networking, marketing resources, educational programs, and more to support your business. Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or starting out, we have the right membership option for you. Explore our investor levels for exclusive benefits or try our free basic membership. For more information, visit stcharlesregionalchamber.com.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are now open for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Enter now at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Drury Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Drury Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Drury Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Ready to turn your home into a digital racetrack? Buckle up for i3 Broadband's advanced whole home Wi-Fi. Picture this, lightning-fast internet in every nook and cranny. No dead zones, no lag, just pure connectivity. Whether you're binge-watching in the living room or video calling from the basement. All with no contracts, no hidden fees, just insane speeds. Plus our no-risk 30-day money-back guarantee. Hit us up at 877-976-0711 or zoom over to i3broadband.com/STL. We're local, reliable, and turbocharging your internet life.
STS Armory, online at sts-armory.com. If you are shopping for firearms this hunting season, you want to make sure that STS Armory, they have had the opportunity to meet you because you want the opportunity to meet them. STS Armory is wonderful at making sure that you can meet your Second Amendment needs. They have certainly done that for my family, and they are also there to make sure that you get the education that you need when it comes to lawfully exercising that Second Amendment in the state of Illinois. STS Armory is located in Pontoon Beach, Illinois. You can find them online at sts-armory.com. And when you shop with STS, if you have questions about your FOID card, your conceal and carry, if you have questions about safety and security in your home. I've purchased firearm security from them in their house or in their business, and I have been very grateful for it because it makes me feel even more comfortable and confident that I can protect myself, I can protect my family, but also do it in a way that is safe with the little ones around the home. If you have a question about firearms, firearm safety courses, classes, ammunition, accessories, any of it, go to the experts, Katie and Jesse and the staff at STS Armory, online at sts-armory.com.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gsl-honorflight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Odyssey.com is a universe of audio, and it's where you can download the app to stream 97.1 FM Talk. The Odyssey app. Download it today and stream anytime from anywhere. Where St. Louis comes to talk. 97.1 FM Talk. You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. It's a good song for this segment. So yesterday I was off, as you might have noticed when you tuned in, heard the great Mike Elam filling in for us. I understand Kehoe was on the show yesterday, which is cool that he came on to talk about his race and what's going on in the state of Missouri. The Friday, we had volleyball games Friday, so I took Friday off because we were doing volleyball. We played our last game. I think it started at 1 o'clock on Sunday, got home 5:30, 6 o'clock or so on Sunday evening. Super wiped. What sports did you play, Ethan?
I played baseball and soccer in high school. I ran track.
Did you have
basketball.
weekend-long tournaments and stuff? Did you
Yeah.
do stuff like that?
Mm-hmm.
Fun, super physically taxing, can be very emotionally taxing.
Yes, for sure. By the end of it, it's like, wait, where's my weekend?
Yeah, and it's gone. And then you're like, you got to go back to school. You got to go back to work.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. So Monday was Columbus Day. My family was off. And so I decided I was just going to take that day off and recoup. And we also had promised that my daughter, so we have a 4-bedroom house. One of those bedrooms, obviously, is my bedroom with my husband. But one of the other 3 bedrooms are for my kids. Hold on a second. You talk. I got to clear my throat.
Hi, Brad.
Hey, Ethan.
How's it going?
It's going well. What do you think the Cardinals are going to be like in the next 2 years?
I love that we immediately go to the Cardinals.
You know, yesterday...
In her needing 5 seconds, we immediately go to the Cardinals.
Yeah, no kidding. Yesterday, Ethan did a Wiggins America, and he talked about sports, from what I understand. And you said somebody commented on the live chat that said, I don't come here for sports.
I listened to this show not for sports or something like that.
Have you ever heard Wiggins America before? Like, sports is probably the most useful thing that was talked about in Wiggins America.
The funniest part was that the segment started at like 2:52, so it was literally like not even a 4-minute segment.
You got a 4-minute segment. I'm not here for sports. Well, we don't do it a lot, so we do 3 segments a week on fast food. So anyway, sorry, I got a little choked up there.
Good now?
Yeah, probably. Until I start getting to the point.
I'll answer your question if she gets choked up again.
Yeah, no kidding. I'll try not to get emotionally choked up. I had promised my oldest daughter for her birthday. We said that we were going to rearrange the rooms in our house. So my son has his own room, and by default, he got the biggest bedroom of the kids' rooms because
as he should.
No, absolutely not. But it was painted when we moved in. We didn't paint a wall in our house, and it was gray, and it had this it was like the colors of our logo, red and blue and gray. It was Cardinals colors through and through. I got him a big fat head STL and everything, and we didn't have to paint that room, so he got that room. And then when we moved in, we had 3 kids. Molly comes around, we now have 4 kids. So the baby of the family has always had their own little crib, nursery, whatever. And the older 2 girls have shared a room. Well, my oldest daughter is 12 now, and my middle daughter is 8. And there's a big difference in being a 7th grader and a 3rd grader. And Jensen has wanted her own room, and it's just such an ordeal to switch those rooms around. It is such a big deal. So we told her for her birthday this July, when she turned 12, we said, we're going to do it. We're going to make this happen. We're going to make the time. So my husband and I committed yesterday to be the day that we make the switch.
Quite the off day.
So we start the process, and it is a whole domino effect of movement, because the way this worked was the oldest daughter was going to move into what was the nursery, which is Molly's room. But in the room that Jensen and my second daughter shared, all of my second daughter's clothes were in the nursery closet because it's a full closet, and my 3-year-old didn't need a full closet. So she actually had like her stuff in the nursery, but her bed in Jensen's room. So she kind of was spread between 2 rooms. We always used to be like, you don't have 1 room, you get to have 2 rooms, which also could also feel like she has no rooms.
Right.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So she was very emotional about Jensen moving out of the room. She still is very emotional. She's putting on the bravest face. Like last night, I got her these things for the 2 twin beds. One of them's a canopy, and it's like it looks like a mosquito net. I'm just gonna be honest, but it hangs from the ceiling, and one of them's pink and one of them's purple. It has glow in the dark stars on it, and it's just this canopy that goes around the whole bed.
That's pretty cool.
Super light. It's not gonna suffocate anybody. Don't freak out. Got her that. Told her I was gonna get her some other things so that she, this is your room now. You're the big sister. You get to decorate. You get this blah blah blah. And she walked in and she saw it and she smiled, but she's a very emotional child in all the best ways. And she went and she sat down on her bed and she was smiling really big. And I could tell she was really fighting back the emotion. And I said to her, I go, Evelyn, what's wrong? I said, it's okay. You can talk about it. She goes, it's just going to take some getting used to. And then she started to cry. And it was so touching to see her care so much about losing her big sister. So then the big sister comes in and hugged her, sat with her, and she's like, would you lay with me? And she's like, sure. So big sister put middle sister to sleep last night, read to her and stuff. But along the lines of all of this shuffling meant that we had to disassemble. I'm going to cry. I don't want to cry. This is how it happened yesterday. We had to disassemble the crib.
Oh, man. Look at that picture.
And the crib we put together when my son was born in 2009. We put that crib together in the first house that my husband lived in. That house we bought in 2007 took us 3 months to even make it livable because that's all we could afford at the time. And, you put you remember when you put the crib together, Ethan? I'm going to tell you that right now. When you're expecting and you got all the papers out and all the Allen wrenches out and you're trying to put it together.
How the hell do I do this?
Yeah, exactly. And then if you're dad, you're like, I got to lay in it myself because if it can support me, it can support my baby. And then your baby's 7 pounds and you're not. So you put the crib together and you put all of the things in and around the crib that when you have the baby, you realize all of that stuff has to come out. You can't put any of that stuff around. It's just like crib sheet, maybe a pee pad. So if the baby wets through their diaper, or what even worse, something else through their diaper that it gets on that, then you just take that up. You don't have to take the whole thing apart. You remember the smell of the room when you put the crib together. And so yesterday we took the crib apart. And I'm so sad about it. I don't want more babies. I don't want more babies. I don't want that. I love my babies. I would have a dozen more babies if I didn't have to carry them because I'm just not good at being pregnant. But I didn't know that I was this upset about it. I didn't know that this bothered me or this was I think I've been putting this bedroom switch off for so long because I didn't want to take the crib apart. Because all the kids are surrounded. Like, everybody came in my room Monday morning and was like, so what are we going to do today? When is this going to happen? And my oldest daughter, she's just like, she's so compliant, and she's such a worker bee. She has really high expectations. She's very driven. And she like is looking at me like, are you ready to do this? And I kind of realized that I had been pushing off for so long doing any of this, and I didn't, like, I couldn't even say it outside, like, we're going to have to take the crib apart. And I started to cry, just like I'm starting to cry right now. And, you know, while I'm talking about this and embarrassingly getting emotional on the air about it, it just very much drives home to me a reminder of what is really important. We talk about things on the show all the time that are very important things, but the reason why all of the other things are important are because of these types of things. Because the people in your life, the people who you love, the people who love you, the people who rely on you, the people who you rely on, like, all of this is what is super, super important. Not the politics of it, not the, you know, who are you going to vote for? Are you going to vote? Like, all of this stuff, like, all of that stuff matters, but it only matters because of the things that are the actual priorities in life. And so when it came time to take the crib apart, I told my husband, I'm like, I can't do it. I cannot be the person who takes the crib apart. And listen, I'm the captain of that ship when things need to get done in the house. My husband, great worker bee, very helpful, most helpful person I know. But I'm good at organizing step-by-step processes to get these types of jobs done. And I told my husband, I was like, I can't be the one to take it apart. In the process of doing all of this, we had to go acquire a box springs from somebody that I got off of Facebook for my son's new bed, because the bed my son was sleeping in had to go in my daughter's bedroom.
Were his feet like dangling off yet?
He was in a full size bed, and now he's in a queen size bed, and he was happy with it because he had slept in a twin before. So all of this stuff had to go around. I'm like, I cannot be the person to take this bed apart.
Just wait till he has to go from a queen back to a twin on his college days.
Extra long, twin, extra long.
That was the worst.
Yeah. And when it came time to take everything apart, we needed it to get done. And my husband was gone to pick up some of the furniture that we were moving into my son's room. And I'm like staring at this crib, and I'm like, I cannot do this. I would be making jokes, doing the mom thing. You know, like when mom goes into hardcore cleaning mode. I'm really good at that. That's not how my kids would describe it.
How would they describe it?
Militant. Driven and focused. That's the political spin. And Jensen goes, I can take it apart, Mom. And I was like, oh my God. But like, I couldn't tell her no because it had to be done, but she took it apart. And I didn't supervise her. I left the room because there's a million other things to do. And I just thought in that moment, like, all the kids were helping get all that stuff done. And I was just proud to have a daughter who could, like, take that on and do that for me, because I think she did it more for my emotional state than the militant mom mode that had been activated.
Mm-hmm.
But they're just little things that happen in life that are happening to people every day in life that you don't always know, that, like, the big life moment that person went through that day was she had to take the crib down. So just be kind to people and be aware that, like, so much life is being lived on a daily basis. We get so wrapped up in polls and, you know, elections and maybe even, like, stupid petty fights that you have from someone that you're like, you know, you don't like that person, or you don't get along with that person, but you can't really remember why. And if you had to explain to somebody why that was, it would feel kind of silly to say it out loud. Just remember to be kind to people and to look at the things that stop you in your tracks, because they're emotional things and they're really important things and they matter. And even if it's like a small thing to everybody else around you, if it's a big thing to you, to pay attention to that, to acknowledge it, and to kind of just live there for a minute, because it's like literally what it's all about. I also said we are not going to get rid of the crib because I will put my grandbabies in it. And then I gave a stern look to all of my children. So take a quick break. We'll get the results of the poll when we come back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFryShow.
At Lakeside Renovation and Design, our secret sauce isn't just the tools we use or the materials we choose. It's our people. We're not just builders. We're local craftsmen, highly skilled in our trades. Our team takes immense pride in transforming homeowners' visions into reality. We're not just in the business of remodeling. We're in the business of making homes more beautiful, comfortable, and valuable. What sets us apart? Integrity and honesty. Our craftsmen exceed expectations because we care. Lakeside, where every nail, every cut, every detail is a testament to our commitment to you.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility in this election year? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 38 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Today's YouTube live chat poll: how will Donald Trump finish the election? Will he lose in a landslide? Will he lose close? Will he win close? Will he win in a landslide? Does any of this even matter? What we want to know is what you think on this poll, so we want you to go over to Annie's YouTube page, Annie Fry Show on YouTube, vote in the poll, and then leave us a comment telling us why you voted the way you voted. The time is 2:45. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Join Friends of Kids with Cancer for their 30th annual fashion show and boutique on Thursday, November 21st at the Ritz-Carlton, St. Louis. Childhood cancer patients are treated to a red carpet fashion experience as they dance and strut down the runway. With celebrity guests, auctions, raffles, and boutique shopping, it's a joyous day to help Friends provide programs and services to families facing childhood cancer. Luncheon and dinner shows are available. Learn more at friendsofkids.org. That's friendsofkids.org.
I want to talk to you about Cassens & Sons, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Wagoneer. If you go online to cassenscan.com, you can learn all about the history behind Cassens & Sons. When others can't, Cassens can. They're very proud of that. They are there to make it work for you. They have done that with my family multiple times. I currently drive a Chrysler Pacifica. I just looked today, and it just crossed over 97,000 miles. I bought it brand new from them. It's a 2020 model. I bought it in fall of 2019 after the van that we had before that decided it was done. It had had enough, and it was not going to run anymore for us. I went to Cassens, and I'd been shopping for vans for quite a while, just so I could know the lay of the land. And Cassens was by far the most fair, the most reliable, and what I experienced was the most honest. And I was glad that I was able to make that purchase from them at the time. Later on, fast forward to when last fall, just like right around now, is when my husband hit that deer on an overpass. Of course, that's how that happens. Hit the radiator, totaled the Explorer that we drove, and it was time to get a new car, and we needed to get that one fast. We hadn't been researching. I knew that I could go to Cassens and trust the people at Cassens to be honest and fair with me, and that they would take care of that vehicle with me for the life of the vehicle. I trust Cassens, and I hope that you will give them the chance to earn your trust as well. 618-800-2712, 618-800-2712, 618-800-2712, cassenscan.com.
I'm Dr. Nick Barnes at Health From Within Family Chiropractic in Rock Hill. At Health From Within, our mission is to transform the way you manage your health by bringing you the truth about health and healing. We use proven techniques to remove interference in the nervous system and maximize health naturally, without drugs or surgery. Connect with me at healthfromwithinstl.com And join me for Maximize Living on this station every Sunday at 8 a.m. or download the Maximize Living podcast, Health from Within, STL.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been injured in a truck accident, you need the best. Onder Law. Let us make your case our cause. Truck accident? Call Onder Law for a free review at 314 or 618-9000000.
Good Tuesday afternoon. We're going to get started here after Fox News and once again highlight journalistic malpractice, which seems to be an everyday occurrence. Also, Brett Velikovich, who is an Army Special Ops veteran and a drone expert. All this stuff around unknown drones sort of flying over Virginia for 17 straight days. We'll explain it coming up.
This is how we do it. This is how we do it.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFryShow.
This is how we do it. This is how we do it. It's Friday night and I feel alright. The party's here on the west side, so I reach for my 40 and I turn it up. Designated driver, take the keys to my truck.
A lot of men think Democrats care more about dudes who want to become women than dudes who just want to be dudes. And no hunting, cosplay, or cringy videos is going to change it. The bet is made.
So Scott Jennings talking about Democrats and where their focus has been. I guess that video, I'm going to save this to talk about tomorrow when Ryan Wiggins is back. But the I'm a Man video.
What I eat carburetors for breakfast?
Yeah, I said he meant I eat carburetos. I don't know a man who introduces. So this is a video that if you haven't seen this video, I should give some backstory to this. But we'll talk about it a little bit more when Ryan Wiggins comes back tomorrow, since we'll all be back in the studio together tomorrow. But every single thing that the Harris Walls campaign does to identify, to develop a connection with a certain demographic of voters feels like the most pandery, faux, just blatantly attempt to try to be like, we see you. I don't know men who sit around and say, I'm a man, and then like, usually men want you to be able to see and tell that without having to say, I'm a man. The constant pandering to the black vote in the way that the Harris Walls campaign has pushed out their messaging to the black vote. It's like, I don't think that they are actually in communication with black voters or voters who happen to be black to listen to what they have to say. They very much so just kind of go on stereotypes and then serve that up to them. It's just so saccharine. This is Pastor Lorenzo Sowell talking about it. Listen to what
They're
he's saying.
saying they want a president that, number one, can help us with election integrity. We understand that in the city of Detroit, election integrity is an issue. The second thing, we want a president that can hold accountable our local and our state government from the resources that are already here. We already have federal funding through agencies like SBA, which President Donald Trump opened up that portal in a way that it has never been opened up in the history of the SBA, which, by the way, was started by Republicans. And we want a politician that's real, that wants to come here and listen to us. Vice President Harris, she's not spoken to any pastors. Vice President Harris, she continues to think that she can entertain her way to the black vote. We're offended, and we want her to be willing to actually bring real solutions to the complex problems that we're facing in urban America.
I mean, I'd listen to what that pastor has to say. Like, the issues that black people face, black people and white people go into a grocery store and pay the same prices for the goods that are in there. And it doesn't matter if you're a poor white person or a rich black person. If prices are 20% or more higher than they used to be, that still is a problem for anybody who's swiping that product at the store and having to pay more for it. it's weird to hear about. It's weird to hear from the party that wants to talk about like being there for like women's issues or black issues. The party that will also criticize Donald Trump when he talks about black jobs. Like, they do it all the time. And when Donald Trump says black jobs, they quickly just turn it on its head and try to say, since he said black and something else, that it's some sort of racist dog whistle or something. When the libs are the ones who hear the dog whistle all of the time. They kind of control, that's kind of what they peddle in on a regular basis. They want you to just think of things on a surface level of, well, my skin color is this, so I guess that means that. Well, my gender is this, so I guess that means that. And I really feel like Americans are starting to go, no, I care about real issues. I care about important things. J.D. Vance and Martha Raddatz had it out over real issues.
Exaggerated.
Grossly
exaggerated. That means there's got to be some element of truth here. And of course, President Trump was actually in Aurora, Colorado, talking to people on the ground. And what we're hearing, of course, Martha, is that people are terrified by what has happened with some of these Venezuelan gangs.
Senator Vance, I'm going to talk you because I know exactly what happened.
Martha.
I'm going to stop you. The incidents were limited to a handful of apartment complexes, and the mayor said our dedicated police officers have acted on those concerns. A handful of problems.
Only, Martha, do you hear yourself? Only a handful of apartment complexes in America were taken over by Venezuelan gangs, and Donald Trump is the problem and not Kamala Harris's open border?
They've completely lost touch. You could make the case that what is taking place in Aurora isn't on Joe Biden or Kamala Harris. I mean, I'd like to see them try. I think the reason they're not making that case is because it's not an easy one to make. But the idea that there is an acceptable amount of Venezuelan gangs taking over American apartment complexes to Martha Raddatz and ABC, let them speak. Let the Martha Raddatzes of the world do that, because you know immediately where they are. Their biggest threat, the biggest threat to the people like that, the media industry professionals like that, is Donald Trump. What is Donald Trump going to do that is so frightening to them that they're like, well, it wasn't a lot of Venezuelan gangs and apartment complexes, just a few. There's an absurdity to it that is almost humorous, except for the fact that people are being run out of their homes by Venezuelan gangs in Colorado. Real story. Not a big deal to Martha Raddatz. They just want to know what Donald Trump's cholesterol level is. It's absurd. You know it's absurd. I know it's absurd. I think that's why Kamala Harris is not doing so hot. Our YouTube live chat poll for today is, how will Donald Trump finish in the election? Lose in a landslide, lose closely, win closely, or win in a landslide? 5% said lose in a landslide, 9% said lose closely. 36% say that Donald Trump will win in a landslide, and 49% of you believe he's going to win a close election. Y'all are feeling pretty good about Donald Trump's chances of winning with 338 votes in. Thank you for participating. We'll be back tomorrow, but up next, Mark Reardon.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
I want to talk to you about Civia Law, and you go to civialaw.com, 833-995-WILL, 833-995-WILL. Civia Law is there to help you through life's transitions, and I want to make sure that you understand how they can help you do that. When you reach out to Civia, S-I-V-I-A, Civia Law, you are going to put yourself in a position to establish that will, trust, and that power of attorney with a 2-week turnaround of completed documents from that initial sit-down strategy session. 833-995-WILL, 833-995-WILL. They're going to help you avoid probate, which can cause a dramatic loss of money, time, certainly of privacy, and they are going to help you establish that will, that trust, and that power of attorney. And for veterans, if you haven't gotten your powers of attorney yet, put the calendar, circle on the calendar for Veterans Day, because for the first 20 veterans at each of the 5 offices to call 833-995-WILL, they're going to receive complimentary health and financial powers of attorney. 833-995-WILL, civialaw.com.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
No pain, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
An early voting record. Lisa Brady, Fox News, just confirmed in one battleground state, Georgia, where it's day 1 of in-person early voting. The